James Wasley comes into the Collingwood lineup. Nathan Buckley and James Hird. Hird, who bruised his kidneys last week, is okay. That's good news, and we're ready for the toss. You couldn't have asked for a better day. It's a sunny day, around 19 degrees in Melbourne. Just absolutely perfect for football. First blood to the Bombers. They've won the toss. They're kicking to the left of screen.
John, what a moving pre-match. It's certainly what this game deserves, and let's hope that the contest ensures.
Yeah, well, everything's been turned on for the day. The weather's been great. The crowd certainly turned out to watch what we're hoping is going to be a great contest. And this young Collingwood side, they do really look pumped up. They had a taste of it against Carlton a few weeks ago and handled that no worries. Just a little bit bigger and a huge challenge, but they'll come out firing.
Well, I think if they are to gauge where they're going this season, today is the day for them, John, isn't it?
Well, it's a big day for them, yeah, there's no doubt. They were pretty good against the Kangaroos last week, coming up against just a great professional, well-balanced side. You know, looking at the Essendon side before, they can match up however they want. They've got players that can play forward and back and can play on tools and shorts. So they've really got a well-balanced side. This will be the biggest test that Collingwood can face.
And it's very much a big bonus for the young Collingwood side. It's a bit like the derbies over in Perth and the showdowns in Adelaide. Very much you wouldn't get a game that gives you a better indication of what to expect in a final than these ones.
No, that's right. The crowd's really going to be roaring, especially early as we hear it, getting ready for the start of the game. They're going to get behind their sides and play a huge part today.
Interesting to note that Dean Wallace is starting on the bench for Essendon. Gary Moorcroft, incidentally, today is playing his 50th game, and nice to see Michael Long back in the lineup. Rupert Betheris has the job on him, and what a challenge it will be. This is one of Michael's favourite stages. We well remember the 93 grand final, and Richardson has Lloyd. Two exciting young players. Mark Richardson, the 27-year-old from McLeod, has a huge task. So here we go. It's ANZAC Day. It's the MCG, and it's Collingwood and Essendon. Fraser, what a moment for him. He wins the tap, but it's Heffernan who sends Essendon down towards the forward line, putting them in towards full forward. Lockyer couldn't get a clean grab at it. Poke towards the line, and Freeborn will see it over.
And as expected, it appears as if Chris Heffernan will be going all the way with Nathan Buckley, the match winner for the Pies. James Hird appears to have picked up Scotty Burns.
Alessio, front spot. Thought about Hird, but only for a moment. Pushed again towards the line, and Buckley, who's taken over.
Well, it's going to be so important who gets the ball out of the centre today. We know Essendon certainly have got a star-studded forward line, and the Collingwood backs won't want the ball coming in too often today.
Fraser again, up against Alessio. Both trying to flick it out the back door. No one decisive. Freeborn's away. The advantage is going to be paid. And it is 2 to Collingwood. Burns goes up towards half forward. Johnson flew with the one hand. Some fierce tackling, and that's excellent. Watson is clear for Collingwood. Shane Watson over the top, but dribbles over the line for the first score of the day. To the man who's come back, Shane Watson from Montmorency. 3 goals against the Kangaroos, and it's good to see him back. Fletcher to the outer side. The juggling mark is by Solomon. Crowd somewhat pensive as they watch these two sides sort each other out in the opening few minutes. Johnson up towards right half forward. Slapped away from Lucas. The big gun from Camperdown. Are we looking for a big day? Tarkin Lockyer goes short. That's okay.
Well, he won the first tap, Sandy, and now he's picked up an early possession. Good start to the #1 draft pick.
Over the line on the outer side. Yes, who would have thought 5 months ago he's sitting there nervously waiting for the draft names to be read out. And suddenly he's playing in front of 90,000 fans here at one of the great sporting venues, the MCG. Hird through heavy traffic. Just gets his kick in time. It drops a little short, but it's okay. Lucas is called to play on. They had his measure, and he does now. An opportunity for Collingwood to run it through Paul Licuria. Up over the centre. Licuria goes towards half forward. Both defences being tested at the moment. That kick straight up and down from Damien Hardwick. Still almost in the middle. Essendon have the numbers. The hand pass was good from Blomfield. Off to Carousella. Beautiful kick. Lovely kick, but the mark is dropped. Collingwood declare again for O'Brien. Johnson perhaps a little nervous. Barnes Jones gives chase towards the line. Fraser's there with him, and we've got another throw-in. A tense but somewhat exciting start, Gavin Krasiska.
Yeah, look, the boys have really attacked the game hard, and it's you can see that from the start. The forwards are chasing hard out of defence, and they're doing a good job so far.
Hurd again, picking up some quality early touches. Flat-looking punt. Down towards Lloyd, comes out to meet it but can't take it on the half volley. There's Collingwood defence standing firm at the moment. Lockyer comes away, goes to the outer side towards Rupert Matheris, so the bounce is okay. He's on centre wing, gets clear, perfect shepherding, but Solomon comes in, and that's a great smother. Keeps the ball in the area, no one able to pick it up for Collingwood. Push towards Hurd again, he's been very busy. James Hurd tumbling it in towards full forward, sails over the top and just about all the way there before a behind is conceded.
Sandy, I'll just give you the benches for the Bombers, as you mentioned: Buick, Ramanaskas, Wallace and Moorcroft, and for Collingwood, Davis, Brown, Jukovic and Atkins.
O'Brien in trouble, needs assistance and gets it. Lockyer also has made a pretty good start. This is Paul Barnard. His hand pass towards Blake Carosello is going to test him. It certainly does. Shane Watson sees it over the line. Carosella's been in excellent form in recent times. 24 possessions against the Bulldogs. Barnes and Fraser again. Barnes plucks it out of the air. The hand pass gains him probably 20 metres. Here's O'Brien. Shane O'Brien hugging towards the line. It's okay. He's got the good Dr. Watson there. Watson looks towards half forward. Barnard sets himself. Johnson's at the back. They're going to need support from Fletcher on the last line. Sam's got in. Ball spilled free. A cry of ball, but play goes on. Wosley coming into the side. Again the cry of ball comes up. This time from Bomber fans. There will be a bounce.
Just a couple of matchups, Andy, while there is a break. Blumfield's picked up Watson. Jason Johnson's got Paul Williams. Freeborn's on Mercury. The dangerous Bomber Small. Batheris and Long. Wosley and Mark Johnson. Rockers being manned up by Fletcher. Wellman's got Tarrant.
Danger signs here for Heffernan. Tries to sneak away from Buckley. He's happy to see it slam into the post.
Well, the tackling's been so intense so far, Sandy. We've seen just the noise of the crowd gets the players up, and we've seen a couple of players run down from behind, but certainly the pressure out there at the moment is very intense.
Johnson towards Wellman. Into centre wing now. Mercury gets it away to Barnard. The Bombers look towards half forward. Carosello at the back. Couldn't take the mark. Recovers. The hand pass towards Solomon. A little too quick for him. Blumfield, deft little tap to Long. Gains probably 15 metres. Blumfield's going to be caught behind. Can't take it. Neither can Fraser. Slaps it clear though. Wosley. The hand pass out in front of Watson. If it sets Collingwood's out of trouble again. Looks up towards half forward. Big Pack thumping it back in towards the middle. This has been some start to this game today. Johnson sees it stolen by O'Brien. Slapped towards half forward. Could almost be a free. It is going the way of Essendon. Wellman taken high, and he'll take the ball.
And John, just a couple of occasions where the Bombers have been a bit tentative going for the mark.
Yeah, they have, and a good play by Wellman to take possession in pressure there. He couldn't afford to knock the ball away because Collingwood had numbers around him.
Collingwood have the numbers again here. Williams takes on a couple. He loses. Look at the enthusiasm. O'Brien perhaps taken a little high. Shane O'Brien on the defensive side of centre.
And an important duel between O'Brien and Smoke and Joe.
Up towards centre wing. The lead good from Brent Tuckey. Still a long way from home. A long way from Severio, but here he comes. He's in the pack. There is no mark taken. Hardwick held it for a long time. Now gets it out towards centre wing. Barnes is lurping there. Looks towards left half forward. Lucas attack. He's come back strongly. Scotty Lucas goes in towards Lloyd. Again, not a good kick. Burns to clear. Changes direction. Going to the outer side of the ground. O'Brien struggles to pick up that funny-shaped ball. In the end, he does. Wosley, the hand pass okay. Off to Freeborn. Another one wider. This finds Licuria. Collingwood out of trouble. Licuria up towards centre wing. Looks towards left half forward. They came steaming out. There is no mark. It's taken over the line, but Chris Tarrant was there, and he got a hand to it.
And what's been so good about the Pies this year, John, has been their willingness to work in numbers, unselfishly to get over and support a teammate, and that's been the trademark early in the match.
Yeah, they're running hard early already, but we've got to see more Collingwood numbers getting the ball inside their forward 50, because Essendon backline really do work hard together.
McCurry showed courage coming back into this Bomber lineup. He's a grand player. Again, Barnesy lopes around centre wing, trying to set up the loose man, and he can do so if he goes short, but he elects to go long, sensibly towards Hurd, interfered with, and he's got a free kick. Now James is outside 50. He wants to get on with it quickly because Lloyd has given him the lead. In towards full forward, smashed away, waiting down is Rupert Batheris. Claim, but he gets it off to Williams. Paul Williams through the middle. So he can go. Rocker wants it long, but he dropped a little too far short. Hardwick and Johnson are both there. Johnson takes the mark.
Yeah, again, you see Essendon with a lot of numbers pushing back, and then they do run the ball out of their back half so well.
McCurry to the outer side. Wellman. Sean Wellman to right half forward. Justin Blumfield. Lucas calling for it in half forward. He goes shorter. Heffernan's alone. Lucas is still screaming for it, but Heffernan can go back, and on a 45-degree angle, he can have a shot.
And he's doing quite well. Nathan Buckley yet to touch the football, and Heffernan could put the first goal on the board. He's
going short. Short to Lloyd. We've got a throw in the right forward pocket.
Just having a look at the overview, John, a number of times now we've seen John Barnes come to this centre wing, and it's been a real trait of his play so far, with Wellman pushing back and being that extra man in defence, and Barnes actually becoming a midfielder or even a wingman. Yeah,
he just backs the back line of the Essendon side and just takes off into space.
Here's McCurry. Held for perhaps a little too long. Lucas gives a lot of ground, but it may work in their favour. Caracella off the side of the boot in towards Johnson. Couldn't take the mark. Pressure now again on Collingwood's defence. Johnson gets the hand pass out, slapped down towards Lockyer. He's cool from half back, and he's calm as he heads to the outer side. Good clearing play to find Brent Tuckey. Tuckey to half forward. Rocker in that pack, couldn't take it. Barnes the hand pass, not cleanly however. They've got to lock it up here. Josh Fraser's a chance. Fraser holds it, gives the hand pass away. Surely a chance now for Watson. 30 metres out. Watson bends it back, but not enough.
Sandy, that was just great run by young Tarkin Lockyer, who won the ball hard, pushed hard forward, and then crumbed at the half-forward line for Collingwood, which is what they need. They need those runners to push down and test out the Essendon back line.
They've got a problem there, the Bombers. That'll be the third time he's taken the ball out of defensive 50.
Barnard gets it away to Masidi. They've got no problems here
on the wing,
because they've got Barnes on the outer wing this time. Again, Lloyd is the target. Richardson smashes it clear, defending well. Lloyd charges at it. A path opens for Johnson. He goes in towards full forward. Too far for Hurd, however, and the mark is taken by Burns. Plays on. What a grand start we've had in this first quarter. Watson caught behind Heffernan. Heffernan, the job on Buckley, who's right there, but he still hasn't had a sniff. In towards full forward again. Lucas, Lloyd and McCurry all there. They almost stopped. Freeborn eventually got the hand pass away. And again, Watson's going to be a target at half-back. Solomon will come over the top. He does, and we've got a throw-in.
A lot of focus kicking the ball to Lloyd today, boys.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on that, Dipper, there as we see Solomon coming over. Could have just knocked it down to Hurd, but the pressure is so great down there at the moment, and Collingwood are getting so many numbers back. I would just wonder whether Alessio wouldn't be better off just sitting in the goal square and kicking it to the biggest man on the ground.
Masidi to Hurd, in trouble. It's 2 against 3 here. Joe's squashed. Hurd, deft little flick. Solomon caught behind. Johnson towards the line. Collingwood have the numbers. Clever little flick by Johnson. Brown taken over the line by his opposing number 26, Chris Heffernan. Another throw-in.
And Dean Wallace preparing to come on. He's keen to get out there and into the action.
Well, Gavin Brown certainly come on and has some strength in the Collingwood forward line. I assume that Dean Wallace will play on him.
On centre wing, Barnes and Fraser. At the back, Williams, Burns and co. They do it well. Paul Licuria up towards half forward once more. Hardwick almost gave away the free. Fletcher now chases. Orchard on his hammer. Fletcher goes towards the line. He keeps it in play. He tumbles it up towards right half forward. But it's over. It'll come back. We've got a throw in.
It makes a huge difference when a player, skills like Fletcher, defensively can make that extra 40 metres down the ground rather than just running it straight over the boundary line.
Yeah, he's got it up to the right half forward line.
And the rotation is on for the Bombers. Lucas to full forward, Lloyd out to half forward.
Clever work by Alessio from the throw-in. Long Johnson. Johnson claimed by Williams. Yes, said the umpire. And we're going to go to Long. Michael Long plays on quickly. He wants Lucas.
Right.
Sensational grab by the boy from Camperdown, and he could have hurt himself.
It was a sensation mark. Matthew Lloyd ran back into space thinking the kick was for him. Lucas coming out extremely hard, and it was Lloyd that he made contact with. But great effort to take the grab.
Alessio off and Dean Wallace on.
Jeez, that was a strong mark under... well, a number of his players have been a bit tentative at the marking contest. He's certainly stood up and shown them how it's done.
It's one of these days where a player's awareness of who's around him is going to be to the forefront. Because of the crowd noise, you can't rely on your teammate's voice to tell you when you're hot or when you're running into those tight situations.
He's made a big comeback, but it's 6 against the Bulldogs. He's got a chance to score the first goal of the day. 46 metres out. He's kicked the first goal of the day.
Well, it's a great start to the game. It's probably the start that we expected, where both sides have been hard at it. The tackling's been ferocious. The pressure's really been on from the start, and very impressed with the way the Collingwood players have handled it so far. Essendon probably getting a bit more of the ball cleanly inside their 50, but the back half for Collingwood have been working extremely hard to force it out again. What they need now is some of those good, long, clean kicks inside their 50 to give Savrocker a chance.
Big test for Ben Kinnear on Lucas. First goal of the day. Barnes sets himself in the middle. He's up against Fraser. O'Brien wins it. Barnard may chase back the other way, and he does it well. Beautiful little twist out of trouble. Swings play to the outer side, and there's obvious ploy because Barnes is there and he's having a field day. In towards half forward. Hurd in front. Mercury was there. Deft little hand pass to Williams is okay. And Paul Williams gets Collingwood out of trouble. Now Severio. One grab. Couldn't take it. Johnson defends towards Hardwick and Co. He leaves it for Caracella. Caracella looks towards Hurd on the outer wing. James Hurd. Down towards right half forward. Ripped off the ball. Could have been a free kick against Richardson, but no. He plays on to Fraser. The big youngster goes back again. Buckley picks up a touch, but behind play. They're going to lose at Collingwood.
Well, nothing's not running all that well for Nathan Buckley at the moment, but I doubt he'll get back into this match, but certainly a free kick there.
Heffernan is the player. Heffernan cruises around Buckley. He goes in towards full forward. Lloyd with a one hand. He couldn't take it. Lucas again for another one.
Well, it's like Zig and Zag down there, Sandy. What a combination. They are just peppering the goals week in, week out. If it's not Lloyd, it's Lucas. And there they work in tandem, John.
Oh, they certainly do. And if it's not one of the two big fellas down there, it's James Hurd or Mark Mercury mopping up and kicking goals as well. So that's what makes the Essendon forward line so potent and so hard to stop completely. You can cut down a couple of players, but they're always going to be a goal-scoring machine down there.
18 goals for the season now to Scott Lucas. He has the 2 for the Bombers. Barnes has been excellent in the middle. Johnson a good tackle. O'Brien out of the centre. Collingwood needing a reply. The defence has been standing firm, however, Essendon. Solomon's hand pass towards Caracella. Wanted Johnson, but ran into a brick wall instead. Wellman comes in for the assist. Johnson is gang tackled, and there'll be a ball up.
Just they're fierce down there. Every contest on that half-forward line for Collingwood is diabolical. There's so many Bomber numbers down there. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to get the ball in super quick.
Yeah, they are. That's when Nathan Buckley gets hold of it. His penetration with his kicking will catch Essendon out a little bit.
Barnard did it well, going over the top to Sean Wellman, who clears from half back towards Michael Long. Look at the recovery of Long. That's what we've come to enjoy here. Barnes, another possession in the middle. Back to Sean Wellman. He's in the centre of the MCG. He looks to half forward. It's not a good kick. Paul Licuria will tidy up across half back.
I think Matthew Lloyd's just going to have to think this through. He's leading into a position where Collingwood are quite easily dropping extra players back into the zone.
Yeah, the extra wingman on the side of the ground that the ball's not coming, that wingman's pushing back hard.
Tarrant, penetrating kick in towards half forward. That's better. Gavin Brown read it better than anyone. And Brown will have a shot directly in front, kicking from just inside 50.
And Gavin Grosiska down on the boundary line. Just a little surprising that Gavin Brown didn't start on the ground.
Yeah, look, I think they were working Brownie in, obviously, because he's had a hamstring injury over the last couple of weeks, so I think they'd let the heat go off the game a little bit and get him to come on.
Let's have a look at him, Gavin. Your namesake shoots for goal. And he kicks it. Gavin Brown.
Well, they've turned the heat in the oven down by about 3 degrees Celsius, and Gavin Brown has bobbed up and did what he's done increasingly, I think, John, better and better at his goal kicking.
Yeah, he is a very good kick for goal. He's a strong mark, we know that, and he's going to have to take a few grabs to get some set shots at goal today. As we've said, Essendon have numbers back there, so they're going to need Sav Rocker to take some marks as well as Gavin Brown.
I think also on that, boys, Brownie's value is really ground level and the hardness that he puts in the forward line. He pressures and tackles and does all those hard things down there, which causes turnovers.
Yeah, and he does it very well, Gavin. 4 points again, the margin. Been around since 1987, Gavin Brown. A heck of a long time, but he's been a grand player. This is Hardwick. A bit of space in the middle. Essendon in towards half forward once more.
There's a magnificent mark. Once again, Lloyd just leading to that spot where Collingwood are getting the numbers back.
It was McKee. Sensational grab. He goes to the outer side, finding Watson, who looks in towards the middle. Barnes will come over the top, just with the one hand, just to try and poke it down. Carousella loves the crumbs. Gets them again. A high kick, difficult one for Lloyd and Cloak. No one able to take it. McKee was managed to get it down towards Fraser. Finishes with Licuria to the outer side. Now they've got a chance again through Watson. Up towards half forward. Wellman comes charging at it. Johnson was going at the same time as the ball. Carousella tidies up again and gives it off to Mark Johnson. He goes towards Solomon on the outer side. Won't keep it in play. And there's a throw in front of a full house here at the MCG. A sunny day, 19 degrees. And if you're not in this ground, you're above it. And enjoying it, sitting in the Sharon. At ground level, O'Brien has action with the Sharon. Into half forward. Poor kick, dropped short, Mark Mercury. Off to Dustin Fletcher. Around he'll come again. Setting it up for Justin Blumfield.
He'll get it back.
He will get it back, and he does. From Hardwick in towards half forward. Good mark by Lloyd. Off to Long. This is dangerous again for Collingwood. Hurd drops the mark, but he recovers very well. He recovers beautifully. He snaps, but he's away to the right.
Just a bit of a let-off for the Collingwood players there with Hurd dropping that mark, because we know how good a kicker he is. And then just having to kick off one step, went long towards the goals, but really didn't have a chance to steady up and have a good look at the goals.
Yeah, the pass to Johnson was on also. But, every player keen, I guess, to get on the board.
Yes, well, so far the normal prime movers for Collingwood are not giving them that drive, namely Williams and Buckley. It's players like O'Brien who are doing it. He's picked up 9 possessions. This is McKee. Well, I don't know what he was thinking there. He gave it straight to Lucas, who gives it to Heffernan, who gives it to Hurd.
His 10th possession this quarter.
And that also is a poor kick, dropping short into the arms of Scotty Burns.
Well, with Nathan Buckley not getting the footy, would you stick him on the half-back flank, just allow him to get in, John?
There's a lot of the play across there at the moment. I think Buckley could get himself into the game by even pushing back
trouble
there as the on-baller.
Sorry, John, but there's trouble now as Wallace has it just inside 50. He goes short again. Massini is clean bowled, and O'Brien takes it away with a long clearing kick back towards the centre. Brown outmanoeuvres Johnson and sees it over the line. He's calling for the free kick. I was held, but no.
And this is a big moment perhaps for the game with James Hird coming off the ground. We'll get to that shortly. There was certainly a grab there, and every Magpie fan crowding that southern stand, Sandy, was keen for that to be paid, but the umpire didn't think so. Dipper, you got a report on James Hird?
No, he's come off the bench and said, what's that for? And straight on the phone.
Okay.
Well,
Might be for the one you called, Gerard.
Yeah.
The missed pass, maybe.
obviously not an injury problem. That's the main thing. Ball up on the outer side. Watson does the ruck work. Patheris and Caracella go out to the line, and Rupert just gave it a little nudge, subtly over.
And Dipper, the Pies have still got Nick Davis and Damien Atkins on the bench. Looking forward to those two guys coming on.
Exciting
so
players,
exciting, you're right.
They're both exciting players, and we'll add a lot of leg speed as the day goes on, boys.
Fraser and Barnes, one by the ladder down to Hardwick. A hurried kick. Doesn't gather a lot of distance. Lucas has done some excellent bullocking work. His hand pass just missing Solomon. So the door may open for Lucuria. No, he's claimed. They've still got the numbers. Rupert Patheris, 47 metres out, goes for goal and kicks it.
Well, it's great work by the Collingwood players there. Just got that goal basically from a couple of Essendon errors, and then they had the numbers there to swoop on it this time. It wasn't a real pretty goal. We see here Lucuria just got run down with the ball, but managed to get his handball free, and that probably caught the Essendon players out a little bit. Patheris ran hard onto it and finished with a great kick, scrambling it forward for goal, and that's a real crucial goal to this young side.
Eight possessions to Rupert Patheris, 1 point the margin.
Buckley's been pushed to centre-half forward, Sandy. Chris Heffernan's gone with him. And just at the moment, John, the Bombers looking just 5% off the boil.
Well, they've had a lot of the ball, but they really haven't been that effective inside their 50. That's where they'll be looking to improve.
Heffernan caught. Hardwick works hard at the bottom of the pack.
Good
and
hands,
does get it out
hands.
again to Heffernan. That was beautifully done. Johnson wants it, and he's got it now. He's 51 metres out from goal. Goes with a flat-looking punt in towards Lloyd and co. Slapped away from him defensively by Freeborn. Working well down there with Richardson. And we've got a throw in.
Well, first quarters right throughout this season have been the great strength of the Bombers. They've conceded very few goals up until last week. I think it was just 7 in 6 matches, Sandy. So they're doing pretty well, Collingwood, to keep the Bombers to the score they are.
Long, clever little kick. Lloyd couldn't get a crack at it. Summoned off the ground by Johnson.
Well, that was great play by Essendon again, just with numbers surging forward. Pretty good defensive work by the Collingwood players to players like Matthew Lloyd. Very smart at getting the ball on their boot in those situations, and they really kept it away from there. But Essendon just threw weight of numbers pushing forward. We see a couple of players. McCurry had a chance at it. And then it was Johnson who came flying through and banged it through for the goal. And that's a goal that Essendon needed to make this quarter worthwhile for them.
Jason Johnson gets his 3rd goal for the season, his first for the day. And James may have to wait until quarter time before getting a chance for more action in the second quarter. Just a couple of minutes remaining. Here's Buckley. Well, he's picked up a touch now. Penetrating hand pass to another one who's been quiet in Williams. Williams can go all the way. He loves the situation. Look at that. A driving goal from Paul Williams. The two prime movers at work.
Well, that gives Buckley a 100% return. One possession, he set up a brilliant goal. And that is the trademark move of Paul Williams. We've seen him so many times on that members wing come forward flank from 50 metres out, just bomb it straight through the middle. And that one just wasn't a goal. That was right on the bottom of the middle.
That was a sensational kick, wasn't it? That'll really bring him to life, because he's tried to bang the ball in long a couple of times and it's just gone off the side of his boot. That'll give him some real confidence.
1.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. The Magpies certainly staying with the Bombers as Williams slaps it forward again. It's going to be chopped off by Solomon. He held it for a long time and he's been pinged.
Isn't that the best of first quarters, Dean Solomon? For someone who's had a brilliant season, 2 or 3 mistakes have been quite costly.
O'Brien has picked up a ton of possessions. Rocker is the target, couldn't take it cleanly. Wellman, sensational pickup. The handball out the back door finds the boundary line.
There's a few of the Bombers, Jared, had a few of the fumbles in this first quarter.
Yeah, just one of the stats, Dipper. Essendon have made 6 errors with no pressure on them. Collingwood yet to make one.
In Collingwood's attacking zone. In the shadows of the stand, out comes a Rocker. His hand pass, a little wild. Comes back again towards the boundary line. Watson does the shepherding for O'Brien. Shane O'Brien looks in towards full forward and chopped off. Fine mark by Barnard. Combining well with Hardwick and Johnson. They're out of trouble. Johnson cruises from the back pocket up towards centre wing. Long, a lovely little catch by Michael Long, spearing it in towards half forward. Moorcroft takes the mark.
No fumbling there, was there?
Good one grab by Gary Moorcroft, but his pass is a shocker towards Mercury. Freeborn was in front of him. He gave a decent old shove, and as Lloyd was heading towards goal, he'll be told to hand it over. Freeborn clearing to Orchard. He's on half-back. He chips to Watson, who's also been busy this quarter. 9 up towards centre wing. Close to siren time, Scotty Burns. Burns looking inside 50. Buckley's a chance.
Chris Essendon just a bit more concerned about the man rather than attacking the football. And Nathan Buckley, some chance of kicking this goal. And I think they've been magnificently served in this first term by Shane O'Brien, who has dominated the midfield in a head-to-head with Joe Mercedes, who is a big possession winner.
He wants a new ball to have a shot at goal with.
He's got a dud footy.
Yeah, it does look a bit flat.
O'Brien just to finish, 14 possessions. Mercury with just, Mercedes with just 4.
Well, it's a good move, I think, to get Buckley up there. Obviously, Malthouse had the courage in his team to keep getting the ball forward to Buckley. We called that he may have gone to the half-back line to get himself involved, where a lot of the play was. But Malthouse took the punt and moved him forward, hoping that his players would keep pushing it, and he could get a result here.
This to extend Collingwood's lead at quarter time, but he pushes it right across the face in going for the extra distance. So no addition to the score. It's quarter time. Mick Malthouse already out on the ground. Kevin Sheedy making his way towards the Bomber camp. But an exciting first term. An even first term on this ANZAC Day. 1 point the margin. James Hurt perhaps a little unhappy about spending some time on the bench. There's a point in it at the MCG. 1 point the difference as we go into the second quarter here at the MCG. No one getting it clear. O'Brien's had a wonderful first term. Johnson, however, kicks it out for Essendon. Down towards Hurd. It passes him. They're going to need assistance. Attempting to chop it off and doing it pretty well was McKee. Goes to the outer side and he's still got it. The hand pass was excellent. Stephen McKee goes short and it's okay finding Williams. Quickly off to Buckley. The prime movers starting to move for Collingwood. He kicks towards half forward. Poor bounce. One that favours Wellman. Tumbles it back towards half forward. Barnes is caught behind. And in so doing, gives away the free kick to the young man by the name of Josh Fraser.
And that kick of Nathan Buckley's, or anybody kicking it to that position, really is doing their side a disservice, because they're invariably kicking it to numbers of Essendon players.
Lucuria finds Sav Rocker. Rocker heads straight towards the goal square, an area he knows pretty well. Tarrant is there, Wellman is there, Johnson is there. Johnson now away from Orchard, gets a kick towards Mercedes, and he sees it over the line.
Sandy, the benches for the second quarter. Collingwood, Davis, Jukovic, Atkins and
Wallace.
Wallace, thank you. And Buick, Remenascus and Alessio.
We're still yet to see Adam Remenascus have a run, but he's a young man with a fine future. There's no question of that. Johnson towards halfback. Courage required there by Barnard. Watson gets the hand pass away towards Lucuria. Lucuria looks towards full forward. Fletcher was the flyer, sneaking it away from Buckley. And Dustin was quick to recover too. Looks towards the half-back line. Pushed over the back by Mercedes. The intent was certainly good. It just beats Moorcroft over the line for a throw-in.
Yeah, again, we see the pressure that Essendon will keep applying to Collingwood. If they do have to just bomb the ball long, going to be very hard for them to take a grab up forward. They really need to kick the ball to their forwards' advantage.
Here's Williams taking the ruck work and going down towards Buckley. Heffernan slaps it away from him, but Topo sees it coming out of his hands. There's trouble here. O'Brien again snapping in towards Rocker. Too wide this time. Out of bounds on the full.
Other end of the ground, Ben Kinnear's gone on to James Hird. Lucas has pushed the full forward on Steve McKee.
O'Brien already 16 possessions for the match. Here's Barnard taking it from the back pocket, heading towards centre wing. Barnes electing not to fly. Does the shepherding work for Justin Blumfield. Gets it off to Caracella. He slips, goes back towards Johnson. He's taken to the line. We've got a throw in.
Well, they won't be denied, John. The pressure of the Pies is really unsettling many of these Bomber players.
Yeah, it is. They're just really running hard to be in the contest and lay those tackles, force the ball free.
Essendon have won the last 3 of the meetings between these two sides. Masidi under the pump towards Caracella. Standing still, he pumps it towards Hird. It's smashed clear of him. Fraser waits down, but Johnson nips in front, gives it to Masidi. Masidi looks inside 50. Danger here again for Collingwood. Towards Lucas it goes. Burns and co try to defend. Freeborn is there. He's under the pump. He's caught. Spills free. Lucas not clear yet. Neither is Burns. Picks it up now. Back to Freeborn. Had a little bit of a look. And in so doing, lost the ball to Gary Moorcroft. He tried soccer tactics. They didn't work.
And I think Gary Moorcroft's the sort of player the Bombers look like they need up on that forward line, and even Ramanaskas or Darren Buick could help. There's been a lot of times where they just haven't been able to get somebody at the feet of their many tall players.
No score so far in this second quarter. Collingwood leading by a point. Williams tucked in the back pocket. He's took them on and he's going to be pinged. It was a big ask to get through that wall of red and black. He decided to try it and he may pay the ultimate price.
Yeah, it's a tough position to try and break through a pack when you're deep inside the forward line for the opposition. If you do get caught, you're going to pay a pretty hefty price. I think Malthouse certainly will be sending a message to tell him to try and clear the ball out of that danger zone as quickly as possible.
Great tackle by Matthew Lloyd. And it hasn't been a great day so far for full forwards. We know that Sav Rocker has kicked 9 goals in an ANZAC Day match, Sandy, but as of yet, neither Rocker or Lloyd have scored a major.
Lloyd has the chance now. And he takes advantage of that opportunity.
Well, a similar start to the first quarter where Collingwood have come out and really just try to put the clamp on Essendon. That's what they're going to be aiming to do all day, really restrict their scoring opportunities when they can. And that's when something like this situation here, where they actually had possession, try to take them on, had the opportunity to clear the ball out of that real danger zone and didn't take it. And Malthouse will be a little bit worried about. Just get it out of that danger zone, start again from there.
Matthew Lloyd's having a wonderful season. That's his first goal for the day, but his 29th for the year, on target to break the ton. So the lead changes for the 7th time in this match. Fraser up against the experienced Barnes. And it's Barnes who floats it to Masiti, to half forward, and easily chopped off by Stephen McKee. Doing a good job. Gets it off towards Lockyer. Tarkin Lockyer heads to the outer side and finds Gavin Brown. A goal kicker in the first quarter. Brown has a lead from Buckley short. It's ignored and he elects to go longer. Collingwood wanting front spot and getting it. Strong mark taken by Tucky.
And the numbers just flood back from Essendon.
That forward line absolutely swamped now. Barnes has dropped into the hole and he has no trouble taking it almost uncontested.
Yeah, Orchard, the only Collingwood player that was going to even get to that contest, so not a really educated kick. He's got to look for the big targets, at least give them a chance to bring it to ground. Goes
straight down the middle towards Johnson. Johnson's away with a hand pass towards Caracella and they're out of trouble. Up towards left half forward. A kind bounce is required. Barnard The raging bull gives it off towards Moorcroft. Moorcroft looks towards full forward. Little bit of a shove by Lloyd. Great recovery by Lloyd. He bounces it towards goal. Just off target. One straight kick in it. Collingwood making a change.
Atkins is on.
Damien Atkins. They'll
Orchard
be quiet at Leon Gather at the moment because the lad from Leon Gather has come on and he's got a possession down towards the left half forward. Watson can't take the mark. And there'll be a throw in.
The exciting plays in Gerard, this young Atkins. Got a lot of leg speed and has a go too.
And maybe Dipper, he will complete that goal of the year that he almost got a couple of weeks ago.
He got poleaxed, didn't he?
They've just taken him lightly. 17 games in the reserves last year, but he's really taken the next step, it would appear. O'Brien, boy, is he picking up possessions across to Buckley. From a standing start, he pumps it in towards full forward. The juggling mark not paid. Fletcher under the pump, gives it to Hardwick. Hurried little kick by Howard. The race is on. It may be won by Lucuria here. Blomfield on his hammer. Lucuria's quick. Around he goes. Swinging in towards half forward. Shocking kick onto the chest almost of Michael Long.
I think Michael Long may have replaced Joe Masudi in the middle of the ground.
Mark Mercuri's also pushed up to have a run.
Barnes from half-back.
Oh, getting that one.
Well, the kicking is poor. Buckley might make him pay here. Spearing it in towards Rocker. Good spoil by Fletcher. Solomon at the bottom. Back to Fletcher. A high clearing kick back towards Buckley. And also there is Lockyer. And it's he who marks. Buckley starting to come into the game. Lockyer's kick in towards full forward. Again, pressure on the defence. Buckley was waiting down. Couldn't get a run at it. Hardwick did well. Gives it out wide. Wellman clears to centre wing. Hurd tries to cut across the pack. Lucas, the big fella, picks it up now. Looks in towards half forward. Hurd is heading back there. Can they create a path for him? Lloyd, beautifully done. McCreary off to Hurd. Hurd will cruise into goal, and he should kick it, and he does.
Damien Hardwick's goal, Sandy.
Correct. Way back in the back pocket.
James Hurd did the conversion. Matthew Lloyd was pretty smart also, but it wouldn't have started, John, unless it had its origins back in the half-back line.
No, there's no doubt about that. That's the real quality of the Essendon backs, is that they don't want to give up any of the football. They'll just do anything they can to knock it out, get it away from their opponents. And Damien Hardwick has always exemplified that desperation and really set up a goal there. And I'm sure that all his teammates would have got to him.
The Bombers out to a 12-point lead. Hurd gets his first, but it was a team goal, no question of that. Fraser and Barnes to contest again in the middle. Fraser perhaps a little early. Who can win it out of the middle? Gee, Heffernan worked hard. And Carousel is waiting on the wing. He does it now. Gives it away towards Hardwick. Hardwick a centering kick in towards half forward. But there's a wall of black and white, and it's very hard to get past. Burns comes wide towards Rupert Batharis. Rupert is clear. Gives it away in towards half back. Collingwood now a chance towards
Here he is again.
Magnificent interception by Hardwick. Starting to pile on the possessions too, but he undoes his work with a kick that lands on the chest of Batharis. Some of the disposal by both sides has been a little questionable, but let's remember the pressure as Brown comes in towards the middle. Look out, Paul Williams. Back to Brown. It's okay. Forces him to perhaps stumble a little on the kick and drop it short, but Buckley is lurking on the 50. He can kick this. It goes towards goal. It bounces. As we said, Buckley can kick this.
Well, good running. It was interesting that, again, it was an Essendon error. A turnover from a kick, cocked the ball back up to Collingwood. And the Essendon players do run hard. Once they get that position, they back themselves to keep the ball. They worked hard forward. That left some of the Collingwood players on their own. They worked it down. Wasn't a really good finish, but it did end up in the hands of Nathan Buckley. We know how good a kick he is. He made no mistake with that. That's a pretty important goal for the Collingwood side.
A very important reply by Nathan Buckley.
Pace of Atkins has been added to the midfield.
Barnes again wins it, and a little toe poke almost gets him down to half forward. Through the arms of Hurd. James Hird goes again, and he does well to get it out towards Heffernan. His hand pass goes astray. Going to be chopped off. Stephen McKee's doing a good job across that half-back line. Buckley's coming into the game. He chips it up towards Tucky on half-forward. Doesn't let him down. Collingwood are hanging on.
You've got to get the ball in quicker. Essendon is flooding the area once again. Makes it too difficult unless someone takes a spectacular.
Oh, Williams was the flyer, but he couldn't complete the mark. They surge it inside 50. They're not out of it yet. It works hard. Williams goes again. He's beautifully claimed at the line, and we've got a throw-in. It's warming up here at the MCG.
Alessio's also warming up, about to come back on.
Paul Williams, a mighty fly, and Mark Johnson coming over the back. Not paid, no mark. Rocker taken out of it. Barnes tries to give it away. Fraser takes on some heavy traffic. O'Brien tries to bend it back. It's high, in towards full forward, and it's chopped off by Hird. Down there on the last line of defence. He gives it away, and Essendon will breathe easy for a moment. Chipping it up towards Barnard. Back to Hird. Combined well on that occasion with Carosella, and they've got Lloyd a long way from home. He may go all the way here. That's a good-looking kick. He spotted that player. It's a sensational kick, and Moorcroft has taken the mark in splendid fashion.
He may have hurt himself as well, Sandy. He's grabbed for the groin, but he turned himself upside down to take that job.
Great transference of play to get it down there, and there was a great grab. He would have really had no idea about where he was positioned in front of the goals there. He had to go for it. The ball probably would have gone through anyway, but he had to take that and make sure he took it, which was a great effort. But James Hird just getting the ball under pressure back in the other goal square, releasing it, then running extremely hard. He gave a shepherd, kept in the play, then received the handball back and hit Lloyd down the ground.
Yeah, it all started with Hird and Carosella in that back line, and now Lloyd and Moorcroft can finish it off. Moorcroft does.
Here's a good goal to Gary Moorcroft. And once again, they maintain that 12-point buffer. I still think sometimes, John, if they're not getting the ball in quickly, they just haven't got one more of the Gary Moorcroft at the feet of the packs.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But again, that goal was set up by, deep from the Bomber defence, and we spoke about the previous one with Hardwick, and they do set up a lot of goals.
Couple of changes, boys. Kinnear off, and also Orchard back on. Mark McCurry off the ground, and Darren Buick is on for the Bombers.
Thank you, Dipper. Again, two-goal ball game. Fraser working hard in the middle. So too Buckley. Johnson tries to chop it off, and he does well. Only as far as O'Brien, who appeared to cop one in the mouth as Heffernan applied the tackle. An inquisitive look at the umpire, but that's all.
This time it's Gary Moorcroft who's pushed all those lesser names up the forward line, like Lloyd and Lucas, John, and he's sitting alone in the goal square, and he's a pretty handy mark for his size.
Well, Barnes' idea was right, but O'Brien might make him pay. Kicks down towards the forward line. Barnard again chops it off, and he cruises across full-back. Going to have to be quick. Good shepherding by Fletcher in the end, and he delivers it beautifully to Buick. The little red-headed Bomber veteran comes wide to the outer side. Batheris will spoil. At least he'll try to. Barnes couldn't take it. They called play on. Wellman had it and lost it. Barnes asks the question. Players allowed to go on. Coming onto the ground was Atkins. He couldn't take it. Freeborn is wide and weaving on centre wing. Gets it away now. O'Brien back to Freeborn. He runs through the centre for Collingwood. Steadies, looks up towards full forward. The kick's got to be good. Fletcher gets a bad bounce. Sav gets a beauty. He gets the hand pass away. Williams goes for goal. They got another one. Williams gets his second goal. Again, there's a kick in it.
Well, it's just desperation on centre wing. There was half a dozen chances for both sides to get the ball clear. But it was Collingwood that had the hot hands, and there's another example of it.
And the release from Damien Atkins out here, on his hands and knees, under pressure, surrounded by Essendon players, to actually get it out to Freeborn's at advantage was an outstanding effort. Sent Freeborn away.
Paul Williams gets his second. Gavin Krosiska is down on the boundary line, and Gavin, when Williams fires, I know we talk about Buckley, but when Paul really gets his game going, Collingwood tends to as well.
Yeah, look, Willow's a great finisher of goals, and if he can kick a few today, I'm sure it'll help us win the game, I think. But I think the other thing is, too, our forwards aren't moving enough up the ground. They're not leading hard enough, which is causing the guys to hold on to the ball up the ground a little bit, which makes it look a bit slow.
And Gavin, both clubs starting with an extra man in defence. Your man Lockyer just picking up an extra possession.
Yeah, Tarkin's a good mop-up player. He's got good skill, and hopefully he can set up a few things.
Johnson, but there's been a whistle behind play.
He said it was a Shepherd off the ball, and the Shepherdee must have pushed him in the back.
And it's going to Heffernan. He's on half-back, and he'll look towards Lucas on the outer wing. Scott Lucas took a wonderful mark in the first quarter. Kicks towards half-forward. Long stood his ground, and they came galloping over the top. The hand pass came to Fraser from McKee. He kicks it towards the centre wing. There's a lot of red and black there. Locked up by Wellman. Tried to get it out. Lucas said, I'll go in and get it. Gives it away towards Buick. Off to Hurd. He gets claimed. Back to Lucas. That was strength and skill. Lucas is still a long way from home, but he can put him inside 50. Blumfield might wait down. Lloyd is there, but Richardson outmarks him. Good, strong one grab. Drifts play in towards the centre. Collingwood goes here. Here he goes. This is the lad from Leongatha. Up towards Severio.
It's a pace going through the middle of the ground that gets it into that forward line. And for one of the few occasions this afternoon, Sav's had an even go with Dustin Fletcher, who at this stage is one of the best players on the ground.
Yeah, if that kick's not to Sav's advantage, Dustin Fletcher's going to beat him every time. On that occasion, just out in front enough. Still probably not the perfect kick, but Sav took a very strong grab in front of Dustin Fletcher that time. That's how they're going to do it. There's no doubt, Jared. They've got to run the ball, get it in there as quickly as they can, but still to the forward's advantage.
Going for his first goal. He's got 18 for the season. He's away to the left. Dean Rioli is also with us today. He's down on the boundary line. Dean, what about the influence of someone like a James Hurd on you younger players?
Yeah, Hurdy's a great captain. He's just a great leader. So what he sort of inspires everyone out on what he does out on the field. So he needs to lift a bit, I think, James.
Yes, you need a little bit of inspiration at the moment. Collingwood right there with you as Mercedes takes the mark in the back pocket. Short to Barnes, who's floating across half-back.
Ramanauskas about to come on for the Bombers.
Well, there's a bit of a live wire too. Some pace there for Adam Ramanauskas. Only played a handful of games.
Exactly.
Adkins goes to ground again. Fine tackle. Carousella gives it to Johnson, off to Barnard. Got a player running through. That's Mercedes. Hit late by Adkins, but he gets his kick up towards half-forward.
He's on fire.
Beautifully done by McKee. He is playing a blinder in defence. Wide to Watson.
Buckley loose, running forward. Could end up the danger man.
Rocker.
Still got to get it in quicker.
He's a long way from home. He may go for the shorter version, and that's Lockyer. And Tarkin Lockyer marks inside 50. 45-degree angle. A chance now for Collingwood to regain the lead.
Well, he's a designated kicker from full-back, but we often know what happens. That might be a beautiful kick.
He's going short to Williams. He's dropped it. That's unlike Paul Williams. They try and lock it up now. Blumfield to sneak out the back door. Umpire Goldspink has given a decision that some would consider pretty tough, Johnny Worsfold.
Well, they're always tough when they're, especially for Paul Williams, within kicking distance to pay it against the side there. But I'd like to have another look. If a player, as he goes for his short kick,
He's kicked it. He's
further out.
Michael Long coming off the ground. Doesn't appear to be injured, Dipper, and Steve Alessio on.
I'll just check with him, mate.
Thank you, Dipper. In the meantime, Buckley to have a shot at goal. Collingwood also making a change. Ben Kinnear is back out on the ground, but the action is with Buckley. He's kicked one already this quarter. He's kicking from 54 metres.
That's why he kicked it to him.
Boom kick from Nathan Buckley. Collingwood in front here at the G.
And he's had a big quarter after a very slow start, Jared. Buckley coming into the game. Couple of goals now. Really starting to hurt Essendon. As much as Collingwood just edge in front by a point.
Yeah, just statistically to back up your thoughts there, John. 1 kick, 1 handball in the first term. He's already had 6 kicks and 2 goals in this second.
He's such a hard player to control, Bucksy. If he's in midfield and
So a
someone
big
can
return
stop
from the skipper of the Pies.
2 goals to Nathan Buckley. For the 7th time, the lead changes hands. Barnes out of the middle, but he can't take it. It is the goal kicker Buckley who goes to half forward. Smashed down by Brown, and he's the first to recover. Twisting and turning, dodging and weaving. Gives it away to the other master.
Oh, look at this.
Goes for goal again. Sensational, Nathan Buckley. Well, it doesn't get much better than that, John Worsfold.
No, Nathan Buckley just really starting to come in. That's the first centre clearance for Collingwood this quarter. Nathan Buckley taking out and kicking a goal. Essendon have cleared it 5 times this quarter. So really, if Collingwood can get it out, especially through the hands of Nathan Buckley, they're going to be very dangerous.
That was goal of the day. You saw Nathan Buckley all the way, get the early kick, then get a sniff. He was onto it. There were the goals looming. Bang. He got it home.
What a session for Nathan Buckley. 3 goals in this, the second quarter. We've still got 5 minutes left. Collingwood stretching their lead. Concern now for the Bombers as Heffernan is claimed in the middle. There'll be another bounce.
Sandy, you got Mercuri and Long, who both haven't played a lot of football, on the bench down here with Dean Wallace, and Michael Long is okay. A bit of concern there.
Yeah, my word, there is.
Must be concern also with the matchup of Heffernan on Buckley. He's given him some stick in this term.
7 points the margin, favouring Collingwood. Barnes just gets a touch, but it's pushed towards half forward, chopping it off his Hardwick. He's developed into a very, very good player. Hardwick towards Hurd, forward of centre wing. The Bombers need a reply here. Atkins fires himself at Hurd, but he gets his kick down towards the forward line. Couple of Bombers vying for it. Lucas off the inside of his boot. Almost danger here.
Missed it.
Missed it. Well, the pressure telling on that Essendon forward line, and Justin Blumfield, who had a shot, couldn't get boot to ball, and one behind goes on the board. Buckley from the kick out. Could go short to Freeborn, elects to go longer. McKee has been very good, and that's no exception.
Just kick it in his direction, and he is on fire.
He's done extremely well, hasn't he? Gives it away this time to Freeborn. He's down towards centre wing. Collingwood on top in this game at the moment. At the back is Rocker. Eludes one, but then lost the ball. Goes again with strength. Somehow gets clear. Wellman wanted a free kick. He started to remonstrate. Forgot the footy. And now the advantage is paid to Hardwick.
This is where the dangerous of Bombers, when they get the ball cleared through the midfield, but the fumbles have slowed them up again.
Johnson finds Solomon. Solomon cruises through the midfield now. Puts them inside 50. His kick sails over the top. The Collingwood defence is asked once more. Lacuria comes wide to Freeborn. He's got it on the half-back line. Freeborn towards Brown. Hardwick is the late spoiler. Brown is playing like a 2-year-old. This is back to 1987. Buckley caught.
He's a big man.
Tell you what, this is living up to an ANZAC Day tradition at the moment, gentlemen. On centre wing. Heffernan may be asked to leave the arena to have that blood tidied up. Barnes and Fraser. And isn't Josh Fraser a revelation? They're going to bring him in quietly. Just let him cruise into the ANZAC Cup with 1 or 2 games. Now he's in the thick of it. Williams working hard. Brown there with him. Couple of the old veterans. Brown, of course, was in that 1990 Premiership side with Gavin Krasiska. They're the only 2 survivors, I think.
He's been a star across half-back for them this term, Damien Hardwick.
And we'll have a look at James Hurd on the ball being matched up by young Damien Atkins. Now, that is a big job for that young fella.
It's a big challenge, isn't it?
It's a big job for Hurdy to keep up with Damien.
Now the blood rule is coming into force, and Heffernan will leave the ground.
Yeah, a lot of players are gasping for breath down here. It's a very hard game down here, lads. Don't worry about that.
It's hard running, Dipper, and I think that sort of game suits the Pies a little bit more. I think they're better structured to win the event if it becomes really just a marathon.
And Mercuri back on the ground.
And Buckley pushed forward for these last few minutes of the first half.
Lucas coming off.
2.5 minutes remaining.
Ramanaskas on for Scotty Lucas. Kinnear off and Wasley.
So a bit of pace there as far as Essendon is concerned, with Ramanaskas coming onto the ground. And Jared Wasley, who came into this lineup late at the expense of Simon Prestigiacomo, who was a withdrawal, getting his opportunity. Fraser and Barnes again, won by the former. He does well. He tumbles the punt. Now watch the bounce on this one. Slap down towards Wellman. He gets claimed. Could have almost been pinged. Comes towards Hardwick. Gives it off towards Johnson. Johnson from half-back, short to Solomon. He had Buick there as well. Now he elects to go. Solomon finds some extra acceleration. It's a shocking kick down towards Moorcroft. He may tidy up for him, and in fact in the end he does it rather well. It's kicked by Ramanaskas down towards Alessio. Alessio can't get a free kick at it, and again it'll be O'Brien who will clear it out aside. Ruben Batheris is there. They break towards Williams. He's between centre wing and half forward. He's got a hit there in front of him, and he can go. Williams, 90 metres out, goes towards Buckley. Blodfield is there with him. Buckley takes the mark in the pocket.
You'll put this away. He's pumped, he's up, he's got the sights in.
It's a tight angle, but he's kicked 3 for the quarter. He's having a look at a few options here, but just too strong.
A 12-point turnaround too, because the Bombers look to set score a goal at the other end before it was stripped from Alessio.
He's desperate for someone to give him something. He is desperate. He comes from the land of the check side.
He'll wait for him to go too. He'll wait for somebody to present himself, I think.
Well, it's a centering kick into half forward. It wobbles towards Carosella. In the end, Gavin Krasiska, it wasn't all that pretty.
No, it was a pretty ordinary kick for Bucks actually, but normally the guys that's probably try and centre that ball and try and give it to someone who's leading at them.
So is that an absolute team rule? Is it, Gavin, that you just don't have pot shots from the boundary line?
No, it's not a team rule. I think it's just smart play. I think the guys can normally get a metre off your opponent, and if you back your skills and get it in there, you normally got a better shot at goal.
From the throw-in, Carosella has it held, but gets it out towards Johnson. Goes hurriedly towards Buick on centre wing. Got to be some urgency come into this Bomber lineup now. Buick kicks down towards half forward. Could have been a shove. The umpire says no, and Richardson says, OK, I accept your decision gleefully.
Has Matthew Lloyd received a free kick this month?
Adkins, think about that as we watch the lad from Leongatha kick towards Buckley. Got to do something here, but it's again, his kicking lets him down. Alessio calls it to Hardwick, off to Wellman. Sean Wellman stabs it. He was looking for Buick, but it's beautifully intercepted by McKee. And McKee kicks it to Brown, who is now going to have another set shot.
Well, you think Buckley's having a day out. So is McKee. He's been fantastic in that half-back line.
On the siren. Another kick after the siren. This time Brown should be able to take advantage of it. Buckley couldn't at the end of the first quarter, but this has been a big comeback by Collingwood. They lead at the moment by 6 points after being down 2 goals. They've got a chance to make it a 4-goal turnaround if Brown converts this. Kicking from 47 metres. He has kicked it. A big goal after the siren for Collingwood. Brown, the 32-year-old from Templestowe, gets his second goal. Collingwood, gatherers won. Cheeds has got some thinking to do at the long break, Jared.
Yes, no doubt about that, Sandy, but he knows he's got the firepower, but John, they've been intimidated in this first half, the Bombers.
They have, and they're making unforced errors, which really is a key.
So half-time, and it's Collingwood, 8-4-52, leading Essendon 6-4-40.
And both those players, Mercury and Long, are both on the ground, Jared.
So 2 goals the difference. Buckley's in the middle as we start the second half. Barnes wins it down over the head of Johnson. Licuria came over the top of him. The Bombers will be pumped up early. 2 goals down. Hurd ducked his head, goes back to Johnson. Williams gang tackles him and steals the ball. Back again, it was dropped, and Hurd continues to tackle. That was on young Adkins. Buckley comes through, gets a hurry kick to half forward, taken away by the sprinting Wellman. He's got Ramanaskas wide, gets an awful bounce. A shocker. It finishes with O'Brien. He's having an excellent day. O'Brien kicks up towards half forward, and that's okay. Collingwood looking to continue on as they did in the second quarter. Johnson goes too early. Buckley booted 3 in the second term. Wallace defends. He comes wide towards centre wing. Kick is a poor one, however, and an easy mark is taken by Watson. Short to Atkins. He causes the umpire to duck, and there's a beautiful diving mark taken by Andrew Jukovic, playing against his old side. Starting on the bench, he's too far out to score. He's a long way from home. He elects to go short. The spoil is good. Watson's waiting down for Collingwood. Can't take it. Now he goes to the side. Out it comes towards Heffernan. Had his head bandaged in the second quarter, but he's okay now. Gives it off to Mercedes. Smoke and Joe looks towards Michael Long. Too far. At the back, Caracella. He's pretty quick, and he's going to have to be here. Caracella outside 50. Handball to himself. Then goes back again. Taken towards the line. Good persistence by Bosley. Michael Long sneaks out. Short little chip into half forward. Dangerous. Got to be a free kick, and it will be. Against Richardson and going to Lloyd. Directly in front. 30 metres out. Well,
they fell for the 2-card trick, the Pies there. They put 2 defenders into the one action, chasing the one football, and Michael Long stayed out of the contest, and it was Collingwood that just pushed it out to him, John. Yeah, and the mistake, Jared, they had numbers at that first contest with the ball only, a foot inside the boundary line. They just had to work it out of the boundary line, get it out of play, get numbers back and run it out from there. They kept it alive, and that let Essendon in now for a shot at goal.
Lloyd kicking 1 so far today. That being in the second quarter. No trouble as far as the angle is concerned. And accuracy hasn't been one of his great problems as Essendon start to close the gap. Lloyd gets his second, his 275th in his career, G.
Well, they've had a lot of players, Sandy, that have played quite poorly. They haven't attacked the football. They've been nervous in the contest, and they really have been shown how to do it by a very much underrated Collingwood side today. And I think that there would have been a few home throughs spoken about at half-time. So you'd expect them to come out hard, but that's not to say that Collingwood will lay down.
One straight kick the difference early in the third quarter. Lloyd has 2 goals. Barnes again wins it, but straight down towards Lucuria. Hurriedly onto the left foot. He goes back towards the middle as far as Mercedes. Smoke and Joe to half forward. Lloyd is playing in that position now. Here's Johnson tumbling a punt down towards Lucas and co. Richardson gives chase. Lucas is there. Richardson wanted the free kick. Now he'll want the boundary line. Scott Lucas, 2 goals in the first quarter.
It's pretty important for Collingwood to keep doing what kept them in the game and in front in that first half against this Essendon side. Keep the pressure on them, keep backing themselves to run hard forward.
And it looks as if the number 5s, the 2 captains, are opposed to each other in this term.
Well, that was Hurd getting a short kick. Gone. That is a magnificent tackle. Jared Healy said gone. The umpire said no. Hurd, a check side. An attempted check side out of bounds on the floor.
The umpire was pretty clearly there, Sandy, out of position. He was behind a couple of players, and that is a throw or incorrect disposal in anybody's language.
And a perfect tackle. Locking up the one arm. Not to be. Burns to the outer side. And a big mark at the back. Well, maybe Dean Wallace, who doesn't mind little forays into the forward line.
Well, John Barnes is alone in the square. He's the tallest man out there. He should grab this.
It's not a pretty punt to catch. Josh Fraser gets a fist to it, pokes it down. Moorcroft caught, goes back towards Long. He has it stolen by Jukovic. Can't get it cleanly, however. Eventually, Wosley gets a hurried kick back towards centre wing. The bounce, crucial. Hardwick turned inside out, but he manages to go again. An interesting hand pass. May lose it. Atkins, however, did lose it to Wellman. Wellman tumbles a punt to half forward. Bombers have the numbers. Caracella almost had the ball. Lost it to Lucas. Oh, from a standing start, he's pumped this long in towards full forward. And Mercury right on the line. Sees one behind.
Well, he had it, and then he dropped it.
Just hasn't been able to really have an influence on the game to date, Mercury. Glenn Freeborn done a great job on him.
Speaking of the man, he's taken the kick in. Sneaks away from Mercury. Spears in and in towards the middle of the ground. His target was Jukovic. Heffernan might make him pay here. Now Scotty Lucas goes from 55. The boy from Camperdown has leveled the scores. Or maybe they're a point in front.
This was always going to be the danger for Collingwood, that Essendon having that long break, and Kevin Sheedy to, as Gerard said, put some home truths for them, come out, start playing the brand of football that's made them such a dominant side this year to date. They've started doing that, working the ball again a little bit more quickly through the midfield, trying to get it inside that 50, where players like Lucas can get his hands on it like that, bang it through for those long, important goals.
6 last week, 3 so far this week to Lucas as the Bombers regain the lead by 1 point. Barnes wanted the big slap out of the centre. Instead it was Fraser, but no one able to get it clear. Fraser soccers off the ground eventually, down towards half forward. Oh, Dustin Fletcher got an awful bounce. His teammates are going to have to do something here, otherwise the answering goal is going to come. And it has ever so quickly from Jukovic. Back into the side. Andrew Jukovic this week has kicked Collingwood in front once more.
I don't think Collingwood will want to get into a shootout with Essendon. We've seen some pretty quick goals this quarter so far. Collingwood finished the first half in front because they kept the game tight, tough. They played that disciplined football. Essendon will be very pleased if it becomes a goal shootout, because they really do have the bigger firepower up forward.
Tisha, it was great work there by Josh Fraser. He didn't get the tap, but he effected the smother and then quickly kicked the ball into the danger zone. And they're just looking a shade nervous, the Bombers, despite the fact that they're so close to the Pies.
Barnes wins it to Hurd. Can't shrug the tackle, but gets the kick down towards Moorcroft. He's pretty smart. Moorcroft around the body. The bouncing ball towards Lloyd. He can swing round in an arc onto the left foot. He should kick a goal.
I like it.
He does kick a goal. Hey, it's goal for goal here at the MCG.
Well, it's just more direct play, and you can see it pretty clearly that Kevin Sheedy has said, look, stop mucking around with the footy, you guys. Let's just get the ball down there, and when we get it down there, hit the goal square.
Yeah, that's right, Jared. In the first half, Essendon was still pretty good winning the ball out of the centre, but they really were mucking around with it. Get it out of there quick. They've got the players up forward that are waiting for the ball. They've got to do that. If they win it, as we've seen the last 2 bounces, has resulted in a goal for either side.
3 goals to Lloyd, 3 goals to Lucas.
Paul Williams looks like he's going to be coming off, and we've got Nick Davis to replace him. I'll keep you up to date with Paul Williams.
1 point the difference. Thank you, Dipper, on the boundary line. Barnes has to sit and wait. Wasn't a good bounce out of the middle. It's taken by O'Brien, who had a sensational first half. Fletcher, a good sport, but watch out for Watson. He too may be in with a chance, but he's well claimed. He's got the opportunity of going again. Orchard gives it back to him. He gives a little ground. Collingwood maintaining possession on the outer side. The long kick in towards half forward. There was some holding on there. Fletcher did plenty of holding too of the football. Barnes, penetrating hand pass to Hurd. He's down to half back, but he's in trouble. James is out of trouble. Moorcroft, look out for Mercury. Yes, he charges through. Suddenly Essendon firing up. The lead is on. The pass is good. And Scotty Lucas will have another shot for goal. Directly in front, almost 50 out.
And Dean, finally the Bombers are getting some possession through the middle of the ground, reducing their possessions and getting it into that forward line quickly.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need to get the ball down to our forwards a lot more quicker, so that the Collingwood boys don't sit back and clog clog our forward line up.
And have you been happy with your skipper, James Hurd? You said he needed the lift.
Yeah, he's just coming into the game nicely at the moment. He could make a difference here, hopefully.
Here's Lucas. He's got the goal. Four goals to Scott Lucas.
Well, Essendon really starting to come back. This is what we said the danger was, that they are a very high-scoring side with the potent forward line, good hard-running back line. And after really battling hard for the 6 goals in the first half, they've kicked 4 in the first 10 minutes of this third quarter, and Collingwood have got to try and put the brakes on them again, because if they keep running this way, they will kick a 20-goal score again.
What a start to this third quarter. Still 14 minutes left.
And the Bombers really have lifted because of Hurd getting so much footy. He's up against the skipper of the Pies in Nathan Buckley, who's only just had the one possession, and quite clearly, John, when Buckley's on fire, so too are the Magpies. They've got to get him back into the game in a hurry.
He's the one they need to be still getting plenty of the football, driving them forward to the players like Paul Williams.
Barnes gets it out. He did it well. A chance once again for Lloyd. He's in front. Richardson, the effective spoiler. Long waiting down. Dangerous inside 50. Look out for McCurry. Well spoiled and pushed to the line. Well done by Freeborn. He's got him at the moment.
Well, Williams has been off the ground now. He's back on the ground. Nick Davis has just replaced himself back on the bench there. But he's had both of his calves rubbed down, so we're interested to see how long he lasts.
Wosley in the back pocket. He's going to test Paul Williams here, and he did, and he passed the test. Close to the line on the half-back flank. Hardwick on the mark. He looks down towards centre wing. Buckley a hand to it. Buckley asked the question for a free kick.
Well, he had every justification too. He was manhandled. Couldn't quite capture it there, but he certainly had the headlock placed on him.
From the throw-in, Barnes tries to get clear of Fraser. And he can't, and he's been penalised. Gee, does this young man play beyond his years?
It's been a good contest so far, Barnes and Fraser.
Very good. Josh Fraser on centre wing. Essendon by 7 points. They were down by 2 goals at half-time. Fletcher at the back. Can tidy up, and maybe they can start something here. Solomon gives the hand pass away. Barnard, the bull, starts to run.
Got hurt up the middle.
He's down to half-back. He goes shorter to Wellman. Sean Wellman. Look out, Jukovic's after him, so he gives it to Hurd. He's going to have to be quick. He is. Lloyd is the man. Lloyd is the target. Well spoiled again. Licuria waiting down. Hand pass goes astray. Could be costly. McCurry tries to give it out to Heffernan. He's successful. Heffernan can't get clear. Eventually he does. Yes!
That is brilliant.
Shades of Manchester United from Blake Carousel.
That's sensational. I was going to call it the alley-oop. Just lob it into your head. Kick the goal without actually having your feet on the ground. That's good play by the Bombers again. Moving the ball quickly through the centre of the ground. Good run by Barnard. And then looked inboard, and he saw Wellman and Hurd there. Once Hurd got it, he just kicked it in long and hard. And we just have a look at a real clever handball there. And that's a real presence of mind to understand that taking possession, he may have carried him over the line.
So Essendon open up a 14-point break. The biggest lead of the day. Barnes, clever slap. Well done indeed. Down towards McCurry. Quick to give it away to Macedo. Quick to give it away. Up towards McCurry. Couldn't take it. Hurd is there. So too is McKee. McKee had a wonderful first half. He gets it out towards Buckley. What can Bucks do now to bring them back? Gives it to Freeborn. Short little kick. Lockyer may pounce on it. A little too late. Oh, it's dangerous now for Collingwood. Very dangerous as it goes over the head of Scotty Burns. They're starting to pepper a bit. Ramanauskas, who's come onto the ground, is picking up possessions.
And Chris Tarrant now come back on the ground and Tucky off.
And we're with Dean Rioli, who's with us down with Dipper. We talk about that forward line, Dean, but what about the defence of Essendon?
Beg your pardon, I didn't quite get...
That's because you're so enthralled in the game at the moment, and we'll get back to you. Dean Rioli down there on the boundary with Dipper and also Gavin Krasiska. Poor kick. Barnes and Wallace could have rattled that. Wallace gives it to Hardwick. Damien Hardwick inside 50 once again.
It's fair use of the body.
Use of the body. And it's okay. It's going to be playing young Atkins. He kicks to half back. And it's going to be let down because Wellman's come over the top. Sean Wellman wants the short pass. It's a good one. Essendon is threatening. McCurry has it inside 50. And the angle is not too acute.
That kick by Atkins, looking to go back inside the corridor from that position inside the defensive 50. Good mark by Wellman. It is a good kick to get going from the back line if you can make sure your man's on your own. You can't afford to turn it over there.
He's kicked just 2 goals so far this season, and he hasn't added to it. It's still in play. Watch out for Moorcroft. Tries to give it to Long.
Here he goes.
He's twisting, turning, dodging, weaving. Clever little short pass. Masidi!
That's brilliant. Just great work there from Michael Long, and how often have we seen him display those skills here at the MCG in the big matches. And Joe Masidi will just go back now. He'll line up with the man wearing the Oakleys, the bloke with the sunglass, and just try and kick it straight over his head.
Just a lot of players in that position, when they get the ball on the boundary line close to goal, their first thought is, how can I get myself in a position to score? Michael Long doesn't consider that. His first thing is look inboard, look in the corridor to find a teammate.
8th kick, going for his first goal. He's got it. Essendon steady here at the MCG.
It's quite often, as I said, Michael Long, it's not his first thought, it's his only thought. He'll hold on to the ball until he can find a teammate to get it to. Look at him here. He's now in a position where a lot of players would start to think that I'm going to try and get in a position where I can have a shot at goal. Michael Long just looks for a teammate, and he'll hold on to the ball and kick the ball to a position where a teammate can run onto it, give them every chance of kicking a goal.
Masidi got the goal. Long got the plaudits. Out of the middle. Fraser can't get clear. O'Brien chases. Wellman is right there with him. Gives it off to Buckley. Buckley's under the pump. He's got to go again, and he does. And again he's under the pump. It is fierce. Lockyer finally gets clear. To left half forward, Gavin Brown was his man that he'd pinpointed over the line.
Gavin Krasiska down on the boundary line. It's a crucial moment for the Magpies. They've got to find the goals.
Yeah, look, the boys are playing a bit cute at the moment. I think they've got to go back to the basics a little bit and just try and get it up the line or down the middle and get the ball on our forward line and keep it there, I think.
And Heffernan's gone back onto Buckley, Atkins onto Hurd.
And here's Williams. It's high in towards full forward, and it's a very good mark to Chris Tarrant.
Well, Dean Wallace just misjudged that. He's had a very good quarter. In fact, he was one of the leaders right from the siren in this term, but Chris Tarrant has certainly judged that one the better, and this is the goal they need.
Chance to bring it back to 15 points as Batheris comes back out onto the ground. Tarrant going for his first goal, and he doesn't miss. Collingwood get their second goal for the quarter, and it's back to 15 points.
Well, it's an important goal for them, and they just haven't really been working the ball properly. They looked to go inboard too quickly from the back half, Collingwood. They turned it over, nearly cost themselves a goal. And then when they have been able to go start looking at centre half forward, they've been kicking the ball very wide and making it easy for Essendon to force it out of bounds. They've got to start to look, bringing it in the corridor earlier through the centre half forward area.
Is Chris Tarrant's goal the spark for Collingwood? 10-4 plays 12-7. Masidi couldn't out of the middle. Barnes tried, so too did Heffernan. Could have almost been free kicked, but instead the umpire comes in for another bounce.
Crucial clearances from these stoppages now from centre bounces and around the ground. Whichever side can start to clear the ball and get that good, clean, long kick away will get themselves in scoring positions.
Buckley's moved forward again, boys.
Fraser out the back door, but it wasn't what he had in mind. Essendon a chance to go towards Lucas, courtesy of Solomon. Down towards left half forward, Johnson taken to the line. Lucuria keeps it in play, looks towards centre wing, needs a mark. Hardwick is at the back, he's an effective spoiler. Mercury was waiting down, Hurd was taken high. Hurd is going to do it on his own. A little bit of magic from James Hurd to Gary Moorcroft. Moorcroft 70 metres from home. He heads towards Lloyd territory. Lloyd is there. So too Richardson. So too Ramanauskas. Couldn't take it cleanly. They're not out of trouble yet, Collingwood. Pushed towards centre half forward. Masidi set to pounce. He's got plenty of support. Have a look at this. Have a look at that kick, but it's away. It's away to the right and one behind from Matthew Lloyd. Picks it up and you get a little excited when he's in the thick of things. So too this man, James Hurd. Seven and a half minutes remaining in this vital third term.
John Savroka really hasn't done a lot for the Pies. Josh Fraser's been doing particularly well, but it's got a big ask to run the whole match there. Would you consider changing the two, getting Rocker up onto the ball?
Well, it's probably a good move. Sav really has been pretty lonely up there. They haven't got the ball quickly and long enough into him. He'd come into the play here.
Look at this kick from McKee, though. may give them something. Goes up towards Gavin Brown. Here's a chance. Brown, Barnard, at the back Solomon. The question is asked. Look at them. Pounce on that ball, and he's been pinged.
Well, at least they've been consistent on that rule today, Sandy. If you've gone to ground, even if you are the one playing the football, despite that it goes against most of the traditions of the game, they've knocked you off.
Barnes from the back pocket.
And he's only seeing one-on-one, so as he can get one wide and cross the ground, he'll go to the longest option.
Looks to head down towards centre wing. Tumbling a punt. Not really well directed. And a free kick is going the way of Collingwood. Dean Wallace did not agree. Scott Burns will take it on centre wing. He kicks to left half forward. Almost a fingertipper to Nathan Buckley. He's claiming it, and the umpire said no, bump ball. Bucks won't like it. It's an interesting one.
Just carrying on for what you mentioned, Jared.
Is it a mark?
I would like to. Probably not, but
no.
I would like to see maybe Fraser and Rocker both up forward together. Get the two real big tall fellas up there, and you can run with a John Barnes on the ball for Essendon. Maybe run a Jukovic or a Tarrant, run with him.
Hurd and Hardwick getting it up over the centre. Only as far as Lockyer.
Geez, both harsh judges on that mark.
From half back to half forward. Barnard in from the side. Had his name written all over it. With strength, gives it away quickly. Mercedes comes wide.
He's got Lloyd on the overlap.
An important 5.5 minutes now. Caracella goes back to Lucas. Pick up that piece of soap, Scott Lucas. And he does. Back to Caracella. Nowhere to go, so he just bends it down towards left half forward, and Lloyd is taken over the line. Shadows creeping across the MCG. You might want another look at this attempted mark, Jared.
I would have thought the fingers were underneath it, Sandy, but
could have been a little bit of grass in his nails, but the decision's been made. Lloyd, a clever little toe poke. He may have to soccer this one again. He's just kept it in play, and he's got to be free kicked.
He doesn't get him, Sandy.
Do you think the umpire went up to him, Dipper, and said, just stop playing for free kicks, Lloydie?
Not quite those words, I think, Jared.
Throw in, Wallace and Fraser. Barnes. Barnes gives it away towards Caracella. He wanted Moorcroft. Couldn't quite get him. What about those free kicks? Dean Rioli, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
I mean, do you think he's hard done by, your boy wearing number 18?
Yeah, just looking at the replay now, he looked to have ducked the head a little, but he was definitely copped high.
And Caracella makes up for it with a goal. Thank you, Dean.
Geez, you get nothing off Dean. He is tough and hard down there at Bombers. But great to see Blake Caracella performing so well in a big match. He's just tread water a little bit as a player, I think, over the last 12 months after really bursting onto the scenes as a magnificently gifted young man. But these are the sort of days where you really do add to your reputation, and he's gone about it in the right fashion today. It's still a long way to go and more work for him to do.
2 goals this quarter to Blake Caracella.
Blundfield on the ground now. Dean Wallace off the ground. Looks injured. I'll just see what's to go there.
22 points the margin. Under 5 minutes remaining. Collingwood desperate to stay in touch with the final quarter still to come. Jukovic against his old side. Goes for goal again. And this time finds Severio Rocker. He wants to play on. Around he goes like the Queen Mary, that big arc. Into the square. Some big flyers, including Tarrant. And it's smashed to the line.
Yeah, good defensive work by Dean Solomon there coming across. And I think that just showed that he's getting a little bit frustrated that he played on there, Wisher.
Yeah, he just wanted to get the ball on, didn't he? He probably played on a bit too quick. He had to get back off the mark. He ended up having to kick the ball too high.
Here's Michael Long on the outer side. Call to play on. Long comes into Hardwick. Still not down to the centre of the ground. Barnard is ignored short.
Hurd's push forward to full forward.
Hardwick stays on the other side of the ground. Lloyd in the pack, so too Lucas, who's waiting down. No one for Essendon. It's Williams who takes the hand pass. He's through the middle now with a worm-burning pass to Rocker. He's 80 metres out.
He's capable of kicking it, his big Sav.
Well, this is all this ANZAC Day game needs is a booming punt from Severio Rocker. Well, he's gone for the doctor, and he's pulled it away to the left, in so doing, one behind.
Just on Dean Wallace, I mentioned he looked injured. It looks like he's got a kick in his ankle, and they just sort of restrapping him and just see how he goes.
Orchard back on too, Dipper.
Collingwood still going man-to-man on the Essendon kick-ins, which has worked reasonably well for them.
And free ball off there, Jared.
Okay, thank you for that, as Moorcroft has it on the outer side.
Is he injured, Dipper? Because he's done a pretty fair job on his opponent.
No, they'll just change over there, mate.
Lucas, the left footer. This has got to be accurate. Not quite to Ramanauskas. Clever little tap forward. This could result in a goal. McCurry.
That's free ball's man, wasn't it?
It was. Thank you very much, says Mark McCurry. He gets his first, and the Bombers are threatening to blow this game apart.
Well, Essendon are the most effective side, or one of the top 2 or 3 sides in the competition at bringing the ball in from their kick-ins and getting it down and having a scoring shot at the other end of the ground. And that was a perfect example where they move the ball on quickly. Once they get it anywhere near their 50, they've got numbers streaming past, and we had players lining up to try and kick that goal. Mark McCurry did the honours.
John Barnes has done a very, very good job. He's just having a spell. It could be the blood rule, and pretty handy when Steve Alessio can come on to replace him. It's an 8-goal-to-2 quarter as far as Essendon's concerned as we go back to the middle. Maybe a little niggle there for Dustin Fletcher. More than a niggle, though, at the moment for Collingwood.
9 marks to Johnny Barnes today. 8 uncontested. He really has been covering the ground, finding space.
Yeah, he's got a habit of doing that, especially on that outer wing. Buckley finds some space here. Kicks to full forward. Collingwood badly wants some late goals. Maybe they've got the chance here. Steady. Tarrant shoots. He bends it back. That's a lovely goal, Chris Tarrant. That's his second.
Well, again, getting the ball out of the centre, getting it going forward is Collingwood's best chance. Really doesn't give the Essendon half-backs and wingers time to get down there. We see how open the forward line is here. Collingwood with the numbers on this occasion, and finish off with a pretty clever goal. And that's just keeping them in the game, but they're really not doing enough to stop Essendon. And what they're going to have to do now is close Essendon down and try and keep their scoring options open themselves to get back so that they can match Essendon on the scoreboard, try and pick that gap.
I guess one of their great problems, Collingwood, is that their competitiveness in the first half was based on such hard running, and it's difficult to complete that going for 4 quarters.
20 points is the margin as Fraser picks up a free kick. The tackle too high in the middle. Wide to the outer side, Williams. The elusive Paul Williams. Around the body he goes towards 50. And that's a good strong mark again taken by Rocker. He's 55 metres out, 45-degree angle. Still life in Collingwood with 2 minutes plus remaining for the quarter.
What do you do here, Gavin? Do you have a big crack at it or look for a short option?
No, I think if I was Sav, I'd be putting it straight through the middle. He can kick the ball from 55, 60, so why not have a ping for it?
He's going to have a shot. There's no worries about that. Kicking from 55. What a kick. Has it got the distance? It has got the distance.
That's one of the things about Big Sav Rocker. He can kick the ball so far. Sometimes it's a shame to see him just planted in the goal square. He can afford to come out and get outside the 50-metre zone, try and take the ball there, and then have his long shots at goal. Use his strength, which is his kicking, and he certainly opens up the ground for himself. The further he comes up, he'll find more space.
Well, sure, I think that's Sav's biggest problem. He's not leading hard enough up the ground because he does like to be within 30 metres of goal. So I think once he starts leading harder, he'll create more space for the other guys down the forward line.
John Barnes off the ground to kick 2 goals.
This is an important minute and a half here, especially for Collingwood. If they could sneak another one at least here, we've got a big last quarter coming up on Seven's ANZAC Day clash, and Watson has the opportunity. There has been a whistle. The advantage won't be paid as Jukovic marks. It'll come back. Gavin Brown will take the kick between centre and half forward.
Again, the Essendon
Here's the lead. Sorry, here's the lead. It's going to be chopped off. It is Johnny Worsfold. We'll come back to you in a moment as Hardwick defends, but he misses it. Fletcher goes in over the top. Hardwick goes again. There's plenty of them, you're right. James Hird goes into enemy territory, but his kick was perfect, and he finds Smoke and Joe Mercedes. John.
Yeah, they really flood in. Once Collingwood had that free kick outside the 50, they all push hard back to cover up any holes.
Alessio marks in front of Fraser. Plays on quickly to the running James Hird, who in fact ambles away towards Lucas. Now, if it sits the left foot, it could be in business here. Scotty Lucas goes for goal. He goes for goal! And he hits the woodwork flush.
Nick Moldhouse would be just sighing a bit of a relief there, because at the other end of the ground it could quite easily be in a Collingwood goal. That one would have robbed them of a lot of momentum coming into this three-quarter time break with just 43 seconds on the clock.
It's the difference this quarter, isn't it? The way Essendon have moved the ball so quickly from that back line and got it inside 50. They've looked a lot more dangerous at the other end of the ground.
Here's Lucuria, now called to play on. So he just goes short to the half-back line. Oh, they're starting to play around across half-back at the moment. Batharis, if it sits, will be in business. And Rupert is away. Up over the centre he goes. Watson tries to intercept, but he's lost the football to Hardwick. He spirals it, punt, or tumbles it back towards half-forward. This is dangerous. McCurry, he's streaming into the forward line. Caracella wants to go. He thought about it. He thought about Lloyd. He thought about Long. But now, with the siren imminent.
You got the button there, haven't you?
He's going to have a shot. For the third time today, we've got a shot at goal after the siren. But this one could be more painful than the other two.
Yeah, this one, if he kicks this, really will put a dampener on the Collingwood spirit going into three-quarter time. But Essendon just really did start to run, didn't they, that quarter? Moved the ball quickly. They started finding space running inside their 50.
He's kicked 2 goals already. He's had a big quarter. He's looking to make it 3 for the quarter. He has a very close look at it. He puts the old hands on the hips and say, no, not today. It's a behind. So Mick Malthouse already out there to his young charges, having a bit of a chat. They're still in this. No worries about that as Solomon receives some early treatment. At three-quarter time, Essendon 14-10-94. Collingwood 12-6-78.
For Collingwood, Buckley has 3 turrets.
So the big question is, can Collingwood come back with 1 quarter to play in round 7 on this ANZAC day? No one clearly out of the middle initially. It's left to Justin Blumfield to pump it high up towards half forward. Long's hand pass was like absolute lightning. Here's real danger. McCurry in towards the forward line. Unable to take it on the half volley was Lloyd. Proper little hand pass back towards McCurry again. Another one to Hird. James has given him the start in the last quarter.
Now that's just great play. You're giving the first option, you're giving the man running at the goal the best opportunity, and on that occasion there was just no sense of anything else but team.
No, that's right. Just give that first quick handball to the player you see heading towards your goal.
Oh.
And McCurry again starting this quarter pretty well. He had a very quiet first half. His third quarter he picked up 7 possessions, and he started with a couple of quick ones there to finish off, getting it out to James Hird, who, cool as a cucumber, slotted it through.
Hird had 10 possessions in the first quarter and 10 in the third. O'Brien, he was also busy in the first half, but now they're playing big catch-up football. Maybe Jukovic can get one back. Andrew Jukovic, a former Bomber, can get one back for the Pies.
It was just too easy.
Yeah,
way too easy.
Getting the ball forward of the centre as quickly as you can gives Collingwood, and it's shown all day, gives them their best chance to score. O'Brien, who had that brilliant first half, he's got to start to get his hands on the ball, get it forward. Collingwood have looked dangerous when they've got it in there quickly before Essendon have had the chance to flood back, get those numbers back and clog it up. That's their only chance now to win it out of the centre.
$16-point ball game. 2 goals in the opening minute of this final quarter. Alessio is on the ball and wins it. Heffernan can't take it out of the middle. Buckley can. A high one. out of the shade and into the sun. Fraser slaps it, but straight to Wellman. He's beautifully tackled, tries to get it away towards Solomon. He's going to have to beat a couple here, Solomon, and he can't. Now he needs assistance. Hardwick tried to sock off the ground. Gee, he's been dangerous. McCurry goes. Lockyer after him, and he gets it clearly off to Alessio. Alessio shrugs the tackle. Penetrating hand pass is going to be okay. The Bombers are threatening here. Johnson's on the outer wing. He looks in towards 50, inside 50. Hurd didn't fly. Lucas was the flyer.
Had strong hands today, Lucas. Looked very good in those marking situations where he was going to be under pressure, but just wraps those hands around a very strong grip.
He's very much like Sav Rocker. He's just won just about every contest when he's run up and presented himself. When he's gone man for man against Steve McKee, he's been beaten a lot of times. And at the other end of the ground, Rocker's been flogged by Fletcher if he's tried to wrestle with him, but when he attacks, he wins.
Lucas has kicked 4 all at the other end of the ground. Now he's got one from this end. Big day for Scott Lucas. He booted 6 last week. He's got 5 so far today, and the Bombers holding them at bay.
Well, he's been a real consistent goal kicker for them this year. And taken, you know, maybe he and Lloyd are sharing the goals a little bit more, because we haven't seen Lloyd kicking the bags that we saw him kick last year. But I'm sure that's just a benefit and an advantage for Essendon to have the goals spread out more evenly amongst other players. And Scott Lucas is really a bonus to have him back out there.
5 goals to Lucas, 16 to Essendon. Alessio winning it out of the middle again, and it's McCurry pumping it high to half forward. Hurd was a target. Licuria was there to spoil. Hurd tried to get it out the back door. Instead it goes to Licuria. He tumbles it back towards the centre. The Bombers have the numbers. Alessio's got the skill. He might kick a goal here. He goes for home. Doesn't quite get there as Richardson marks on the last line of defence. Wide to Licuria from the back pocket. Swings play towards Rupert Batheris, almost down to the half-back line. Batheris transfers it in towards the middle. Some desperation required now as Fraser gives it to Buckley for Collingwood. Fletcher's got his eye on this.
Once again, no lead from Sav Rocker there. The judgment of Fletcher just too good.
Yeah, Sav had started to break out wide, but I don't think Buckley's kick was ever going to make the distance to where Rocker was leading.
Alessio certainly enjoying his run with Barnes off. Goes out to Mark Johnson. Comes into Blake Caracella. He looks towards Smoke and Joe Masidi, and he's got him. Kicking from the sun into the shade. Masidi goes long, but it's wide. Buckley, a spoiler on Heffernan. Heffernan taken to ground. Here's Lloyd. Lloyd for goal. He pulls it to the right. Dean Rioli is sitting down watching us. Talk about Scotty Lucas, Dean, since coming back after that broken leg. By gee, he's been very good.
Yeah, Scotty's been very handy to come back into this forward line there, but just too much tall timber that are
You're the man, Dino.
pretty powerful too.
Just take it easy, Dino.
Speaking of tall timber, Mark Richardson has not cleared the man on the mark. And Matthew Lloyd, who's just battling a little bit at the moment, has come up with a pretty handy mark. Hasn't taken many marks today, but they don't come any better than this.
And a good awareness by Lloyd, just to be focusing on what the kicker's doing, moving across as soon as it looked like Richardson was going to kick to the other side of where he was standing. Stay in the plate, because you never do know when there's going to be a missed kick. You get the rewards by being alert and always concentrating and keeping yourself in the plate.
Lloyd for number 4. A nail in the Collingwood coffin. And it is.
Well, disappointing that for Mark Richardson, because he's played a very good game. Matthew Lloyd's been under the pump. He's beaten him in a lot of one-on-one battles. But you just can't get away from that one. That was just a poor kick, and you pay dearly when you make mistakes so close to goal. One of the perils of being a backman, John.
It's always a tough one, and Essendon creeping up. 17 goals there on target. Keep their average of 20 goals per game.
4 goals now to Lloyd. 277 goals, in fact, in just 88 games. Alessio. Fraser. Fraser a hand. O'Brien anticipates. So too does Buckley. Ramanaskas has got him. Spills clear to Orchard. He looks towards right half forward, towards Tarrant. With him is Wellman. This time the good bounce goes the way of the bomber. He gives it away quickly, flicking it back in towards the centre. Oh, at the back is Ramanaskas. Go, little Adam Ramanaskas. 65 metres out. He wants Lloyd at the back. It goes over the back. Lloyd can't get clear. He's taken to ground. He plays on. Bomber fans can't believe it. Lucas will charge at this. And can he get a shot? He shrugs one tackle, pokes it in towards Hurd. Lucas goes again. And finally Burns takes it to the line. Scotty can't believe it. Steve Alessio looks as though he could have hurt himself.
Just rolled his ankle, I think,
Yep.
as he went to take off for that mark.
So John Barnes may not be having too much more of a spell. Alessio contests it and goes again. Caracella works hard. Burns tries to lock it up, and he does. '84 plays 113.
Do you think there was a free kick there for Matthew Lloyd, Busher?
Yeah, there probably was. Yeah, there's probably a little bit too much contact while he's trying to take possession.
Long. Straight up in there. Ramanaskas has got to beat a couple. It's slapped clear of him. Mercedes pokes it down. Now he needs support. Look at them pounce on it. Who can get clear? Heffernan's at the bottom. I was thinking, if John Worsfold says, yeah, it probably was a free kick, one would suggest it definitely was a free kick.
Reasonable assessment.
Don't like to give them away to those forwards. They get it pretty easy all the time.
88,390 here today, so talk of 90, 95,000. Perhaps a little extreme, but still an excellent Anzac Day crowd. It's above the average of the last five. As Orchard shows his pace. A clean pair of heels. Now can he find Rocker? No, he can't. 88,390. The average crowd for these Anzac Day clashes over the past 5 years is just in excess of 84. So that's a good day. $29 points the margin. Fletcher goes at it. Socket off the ground, back towards Johnson in the middle. Well, he had a couple of options. I reckon he chose the wrong one. Buick was his man, and now Rocker. A chance to send Collingwood deep into attack, but he's still a long way out. Not even Sav. Well, maybe. Maybe. But he doesn't try. It's in towards Lockyer, and he takes the mark. Tarkin Lockyer came over from East Fremantle, has just one goal to his name for the season.
Good strong mark, and he had worked hard from down the ground to run into that space, knowing that Sav Rocker was too far out and would be looking to try and kick it into that corridor. Lockyer ran hard down into the spot and took a strong mark.
As you can see, no problems with the angle. And no problems with the distance. Lockyer gets his first. Collingwood back to a 23-point deficit.
And the game's still alive, Sandy, very much, because if they can just get on a bit of a roll here, the Pies, and get another goal quickly, they will get the old re-energisation of the legs. When you get that sniff, Worcester, it's a lot easier to start running. And if you just get an ounce of luck, a couple of quick exit out of the middle of the ground, well, bang, the Bombers are back under pressure. Next goal vital, Sandy. If it goes the way of the Magpie, the game is right back on.
23 points the margin. Alessio and Fraser, won by the former. Johnson tried to get it to Ramanaskas. It's socket clear. Heffernan somehow gets through some heavy traffic. Floats it up in towards the pocket. Hurd and Burns are there, but it slams into the behind post.
And still dangerous territory for Collingwood here, deep in the Essendon forward line. Again, just easily out of the centre. They get it deep forward and put Collingwood under a lot of pressure.
James Hurd just asking his players to clear the area.
Doing the breaststroke there, was he?
He was just saying basically that they're prepared to back 3 against 5.
Alessio tried to do it on his own. Now come the Crummers and James Hurd.
Yes, most sides do like to try and get, for those ball-ups or boundary throw-ins inside that 50-metre arc, they like to have the least number of players around as possible. Keep it open. Makes it easier for one of your forwards to try and get a clear shot at goal.
Burns to take the kicking. From the back pocket, he looks towards centre wing. Ramanaskas had front spot, but Lucuria was waiting down. Oh, where are you going to go, Paul? First one way, then the other. Eventually back to Josh Fraser. That was perhaps a little tired from the youngster, and who could blame him? He's done a grand job. Ricochets away to Blake Carosella. Here's trouble because Mercury can just about go all the way. He's inside 50. He's inside for 40. A worm-burning pass was the attempt to Hurd. Perhaps he should have tried to go all the way. O'Brien, hoping to tidy up, heads towards Richardson on the outer side. And the Essendon forwards ponder what might have been.
Well, it just opened the door there. Jimmy Hurd didn't attack the footy. He let it, or thought it would just come into the old bread basket, and they swooped.
Tarrant down towards Williams. He could have given away a free kick. Lucas too much height. Ambles back and swings around onto the left foot, looking towards Masidi, who marks on the outer side. Joe Masidi, 22 possessions for him today. Has certainly warmed to the task. Johnson down towards left half forward, 18 for him, and 5 marks. Carosella looking to open it up a little. The lead was on from Mercury. Hurd tried to snare it. Oh, and he did very well. Looping hand pass to Blumfield. Over the top to Johnson, and a goal.
Well, he made up for it, Hurd. Brilliant handball.
Fantastic play.
He owed them one. He really did make a cardinal sin, a mistake of an inexperienced player not attacking the football, but I sense that perhaps he knew that, John.
Yeah, there's probably no doubt about that. And a handball like that, just clearing it off his knees out of a tight situation to set up a goal. 29 possessions for the day for James Hurd, and he's kicked to himself. He's been an outstanding player again for Essendon.
$30 points the margin. What great work by James Hurd. And the goal finishing with Mark Johnson, his first. The Bombers will remain undefeated now. Fraser crashed to the ground by Alessio, who's done well since coming on to replace Barnes, who copped a cut in the head. He's been strapped up and should be okay. There is Johnny Barnes, enjoying being what he calls back at home after a stint at Geelong. Here's Johnson again. In towards half forward, in towards the danger zone. And it has become a real danger zone. Scotty Burns, you're in trouble. Loses the ball and needs support now. And gets it eventually from Wasley. He came into this game at the expense of Prestigiacomo today. Gives it out wide towards Lucuria. Sweeps it even wider to the lad from Leongatha in Atkins. He looks towards the centre. And that's okay. Alessio arriving a little too late on the scene. Lucuria covering plenty of ground. Off to Buckley. Out on the outer wing. Smothered. And well smothered by Heffernan. The boy from Terang in the Western District has forced the throw-in.
And Michael Long just receiving the applause of the Essendon faithful. And Gary Moorcroft onto the ground.
Here's Alessio again. They both try and pluck it out of the air. Johnson works hard. Wasley shrugs the tackle. Close to the line. Keeps it in play. But Blumfield, well in front, takes the diving mark. Wearing the jumper vacated by now St Kilda coach Tim Watson. He looks towards half forward. Alessio is again in front. 10 minutes plus remaining. But it would be a huge ask now for Collingwood to come back 30 points down.
James Hurd coming off as we hear the magnificent crowd cheering him off, and Solomon to come back on.
He's had a big day. 29 possessions and 2 goals too. Says it all for James Hurd.
Well, the beauty about this Essendon side, there's no doubt Collingwood really had him under pressure in that first half. Kevin Sheedy doesn't have to panic, doesn't have to make too many drastic changes, just shuffles the side a little bit. Really all he does is ask for his players to step up and play like they know they can play, and they've done that for him in this second half.
And the Bomber boys just saying to Steve, let's just cool it. Let's not do anything stupid with only 10 minutes remaining in a game we're going to win. So Alessio tries to flick it out the back. Buckley in turn kicks it high towards the centre. Carosella arches himself across the pack, comes to Hardwick. He's had plenty to do too, and he's done it pretty well. Oh, the bouncing Moorcroft gives it away to the other red nut. Oh, that's grand play.
Moorcroft gave that hand pass before he landed.
Yeah, he can do that. He can do that. So Mark Johnson already with one. Will have another go. Well, he had actually landed, Dipper, but perhaps not from your vantage point.
And what a coach Dean Rioli is going to make. He gave it to James Hird at half-time and responded with a big second half.
He's fired up, hasn't he? He's just shaved the post. .31 points. Kevin Sheedy in today's press saying it's very, very difficult to go through a season undefeated. More than likely we'll get beaten at some stage, and more than likely they will. But the question is at the moment, by whom? Collingwood's put up a very gallant effort today as Ramanauskas steams away. Ramanauskas is 55 out. He's got Solomon, who flew, but he couldn't take it. Richardson is taken to the line in a gang-tackling fashion. Moorcroft's pumped up. We've got a throw in the right forward pocket.
John Ramanauskas was good against you blokes as well off the bench.
He's a very handy player, and one of those guys who just can't start out in the field yet, can't squeeze his way into the starting 18 in this strong Essendon lineup, but a great player to have, knowing to come on and can do a job for you.
Only 7 games under his belt. This is his 8th today, so he's just starting out in his career as that kick from Carosella goes out of bounds on the full after the hand pass came from Alessio. Sheedy blooding some more youngsters, but now this team is so difficult to get into as Buckley sails over the top and takes a fine mark.
John, if the Essendon forward line played on the Essendon defence, who would win?
I'll
give you a couple of minutes to think about that one.
You've got the same midfield helping out.
Think about that.
I'd give it to the forwards.
Tarrant, in the meantime, kicks towards Rocker. Smashed out of his hands. Matheris couldn't take it. Johnson gets the call a little too late from Blumfield, and he's been pinged. It was an exciting tackle, a beauty. Sav, too far out. Floating an ugly punt in towards full forward. Solomon almost spoilt Fletcher then, such as their eagerness. Johnson eventually picks it up, gives it away to Sean Wellman. He decides to go to the outer side. McCurry needs a kind bounce. Well, Buick may get there first. And he does, off the ground. He goes towards Moorcroft, who gives chase. Carosella is there as well. Orchard making sure that Moorcroft stays in the vicinity. Good grab by Buckley just a few moments ago. 25 possessions for him.
And that kick,
7 marks.
And that kick of Sean Wellman's, John, reminded me of the old days of one-on-one contesting, where the angry coach used to just get the football and kick it willy-nilly and said, righto, fellas, chase that.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Towards the line goes Ben Kinnear. Buckley, another possession. One that he would like to forget.
Yeah, the last couple of possessions haven't been all that flash, but his second quarter, Sandy, was worth paying the ticket of admission. And whilst he's had a real crack in this last quarter as well with 9 possessions, hasn't quite had the impact on the match that he did in the second term, because a few of them have been forward of the centre.
He's just miskicked a few today, hasn't he, Buckley, uncharacteristically, and that one just trying to go for that extra distance to actually clear the corridor. Miskicked it, kept low right into the arms of Lloyd.
Well, he's a perfectionist and he would not be at all happy with that, but Lloyd has the chance to go for number 5. He makes no mistake.
No, Lloyd finishing with 5 goals from a day that he's had to work pretty hard all day to even get a kick, and he's had a couple of goals handed to him on a platter by the Collingwood errors. One from Nathan Buckley, which we're going to see the replay of. Just going for that extra distance. It's always a dangerous kick trying to cross the corridor that far back. And I'm sure Mick Malthouse would give Nathan Buckley the licence to take those kicks on most occasions, but when it doesn't pay off, it can really hurt you.
Matthew Lloyd has 5. Scott Lucas has 5. Nathan Buckley furious with himself. But he's tried his heart out, as Jared said. A magnificent second quarter in particular. 11 possessions and 5 marks in that term.
3 big goals.
He keeps on, doesn't he? And he's there in the thick of things once again. Collingwood will look ahead. They've got Fremantle next week. Then they've got Brisbane on the road. And then they've got Richmond at the MCG. Essendon has Brisbane next week at the Gabba. It'll be a big game. Then Melbourne and then Adelaide. Johnson, he might kick a goal here from 48 metres. Sails over the top of Scott Lucas. Mark Johnson kicked a goal in the first quarter, a goal in the fourth quarter. Jason Johnson, as we saw there, a goal in the first quarter. .38 points the margin. Buckley clear. You can see what's ahead of him. He looks down towards Josh Fraser, who does well. Back to Buckley once more. The running machine goes down towards Tarrant, who marks just outside 50.
Both those kicks centimetre perfect, Dennis.
Who's probably watching as Ramanaskas defends, and defends well. Lloyd is in the back pocket. He goes to Moorcroft. Wants to play on, but is prevented from so doing for the moment. Now floats it up towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Jason Johnson. Short once more. The Bombers finishing full of running, skirting round the boundary. This is Lloyd again. Finds a free player. This time it's Blake Caracella.
Had big possessions today. 25 with 2 goals coming in that third term when they needed to find someone.
Fraser did well to try and chop it off. Gives it away quickly to Jukovic, who goes across the face of goal and finds Buckley. He's on half back. We've got 4 1/4 minutes remaining. And we've got a race on the outer side. Slapped towards the 50. Chris Tarrant will continue to go. Wellman takes him off the ball. This allows Buick to come in. He tries desperately to get it to the line. Well, as so he tried to tell us. And it's the free kick going the way of Collingwood. The advantage is going to be paid. The shot at goal looks pretty good, but just off target. One behind. And at this stage of our telecast, we thank Gavin Krosiska and Dean Rioli. Gavin, keep your chin up. And Dean, well done. Thank you both for your contribution today. Good luck for the remainder of the season.
Thanks, boys.
Here's Ramanaskas taking it from Blumfield. Ramanaskas long in towards the forward line. Wosley charges towards it. He needs support, and he gets it.
Played a good game, Lockyer.
Lockyer, well, you give him a rep like that, and he's put it out on the full.
Fixed him right up, Jared.
But he has.
He does run hard, doesn't he, from that back line. Plays tight and really does run hard then to create for his side.
So Caracella brings the kick back into the forward line. Alessio can't get a run at it. Gee, a couple could. Look at Lucas. Oh, have a look at big Scotty Lucas. Let's just bend that one round for a goal. That's 6 for the day. And he's done exactly what he did against the Bulldogs. A big comeback.
Been a big second half by the Essendon forwards, but I tell you what, Sandy, for 4 quarters it's been the Essendon defence that have, I think, been the backbone of this victory.
Well, Damien Hardwick's been outstanding down there, as has Wellman, and Dustin Fletcher just always does his job for them back there.
6 goals to Lucas, 5 to Lloyd. Fraser out of the centre. In towards half forward. Smashed clear. Buckley asks for it. He demands it and he gets it and he shoots towards goal and he kicks it. Buckley's tried his heart out. He's got 4. All at that end of the ground.
Yeah, quiet in the first quarter and relatively quiet in the third, but the other 2 have been first class.
That's his 12th possession for this last quarter, Nathan Buckley. He can keep going all day, there's no doubt about that. They kicked 8 goals in the first half, Collingwood, and seven in their second half. But it's really Essendon that woke up and kicked 6 in the first half, now 14 in this second.
Four to Buckley. Out of the middle. Williams tries to go again for Collingwood. Johnson, well, his hand pass, he's had to give a little ground. Hardwick goes again. Barnard slapped towards the line, towards Hardwick. Gee, the defence has been good, hasn't it? Goes towards centre wing. Masidi put his body on the line. The Buckley hand pass eventually comes out. It finishes with O'Brien. It came from Nick Davis. O'Brien goes in towards the forward line. It's 2 against 1. Could have been a free kick to Essendon for a push. Tarrant, however, keeps going. Plays on with a short little worm burner. It wasn't pretty at all, but the snap at goal goes across the face, and it's another behind to Collingwood. Watson coming back into the lineup. Kicked 3 goals against the Roos. That signalled his return. Almost going into the veteran class at the tender age of 26. But he's got over 136 games under his belt. Hardwick. Gee, he's been great today. So too is Fletcher. You love this Essendon defence, Jared.
Oh, I think it's been outstanding. I would think that Fletcher and Hardwick would be vying for their best players. When you consider they've had a couple of forwards kick big goals.
Burns goes short
because they've been 4-quarter performers.
Here's
Solomon in
Atkins.
trouble.
Atkins, an interesting hand pass by the youngster from Leongatha.
Here he goes.
Gets it back again. They might finish up with a goal. The snap looks pretty good. Just away to the left and 1 behind.
Solomon in trouble, boys, in the middle of the ground.
But I think if you're a Collingwood supporter, John, you'd come away from this game pretty pleased that you've got a side, I think, capable of doing anything over the next few years.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The way they've taken it up to Essendon today was outstanding. They ran out of puff a little bit after half-time. They probably needed the game to flow on for them because they really had Essendon flustered, and half-time gave them, Essendon, a chance to regroup and come out firing again. But Collingwood certainly haven't embarrassed themselves today.
Well, here comes another one. Become a little too easy for Justin Blumfield. He has got his first goal. They're cruising now to a 41-point lead.
Well, just too good there again, Essendon, just moving the ball quickly, players running through in numbers, and he has been outstanding today. Really has worked hard, run hard, created for the side when they needed him to, and they'd be well and truly pleased with Carousel's efforts.
Just over a minute remaining.
And of course, Anthony Rocker's got to get back in this side. Another marking forward for him.
Well, let's not forget they've got a few to come back. Mal Michael's got to come back. Prestigiacomo was a late withdrawal. O'Brien kicks it high towards the half-forward line. Blumfield now's got to defend and try and catch Watson. The good doctor kicks down towards full forward. Fletcher, sensational. Look at him come away. A couple of bounces from full back. He's almost down towards centre wing. He's tired. He's absolutely plum-tugged. But he's done a grand job.
Yeah, he's been outstanding back there. He's just really a player who knows when to run off, when to play tight. His judgment's outstanding and really developed into one of the top-line players of the competition.
From the throw-in, Heffernan hurriedly towards centre wing. No, Blake Carosella couldn't take it. O'Brien, nice piece of fancy work. Comes into the middle and finds Atkins. He's away. He might kick a goal.
Here he goes, Jared.
Here he goes, 30 metres out. And he's away to the right.
Just got to sort that sights out a little bit, Dipper.
It's just a slight
It's just excitement when he gets the ball. He just has a go. He's full of confidence, young man.
Does it remind you a bit of Ricky Barham at times, Dipper?
At times it does, yeah. He just goes 100 miles an hour.
From the kick in, it's taken by Alessio. He's tucked in the back pocket. 15 seconds remaining. Alessio kicks towards Lucas, who's had a big day. Keeps it in play cleverly towards Johnson. Another one, and they're down towards the 50. Can they finish in glory with Lloyd? Can't take possession at the moment, and Batharis has it. It's all over. Victory to the Bombers. points.
Yeah, it was an outstanding competition today. Finally the Bombers ran away with it quite comfortably on the scoreboard, but they were pressed just about all the way, John, in the first half. It looked as if the Magpies were capable of causing a big upset.
Yeah, I think the Bombers would be pretty relieved to come away with the win today, because they really did look a bit flat from the start of the game, and Collingwood came out pumped. They came out to really have a go at Essendon. They did it extremely well. I think they would have followed Malthouse's game plan ideally in that first half to go in at 8-6. That was a typical game plan of Mick Malthouse coaching when I played at the West Coast Eagles. Let's make it a 0-0 draw at half-time.
Been a wonderful ANZAC day here at the MCG. In front of almost 90,000 fans. Essendon successful by 40 points. The final score, 21-14, 140. Collingwood, 15-10, 100.